Hang on 1 sec. Why do I not have audio again? Let's see here. How about now? Can you guys hear me now? How about now? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me now. Can everybody hear me now? Sound is good. Audio's on now. Did you not hear the intro? Should I shoot the intro again? Did you hear the intro? You got the intro. 1. Good. Everybody can hear me. Excellent. Did you hear the intro though? We got the intro. Echo. Oh, sorry. That's echo cancellation. Hang on. That's easy to fix. No intro music. Oh, God damn it. Well, hang on. I'll just chop this out of the main. So hang on. Let's see if I can start this goddamn thing over again. Damn it, man. I thought this was a good intro too. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to give you this one instead here.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Every fights, no one quits. If you don't do your job, I'll shoot you. You get me?
We get you, sir!
Welcome to the Roughnecks.
Roughnecks, Roughnecks!
I love it. Just start, who cares? I care, goddammit. And go wipe your ass with the boomer comment. I'm an Xer. Thank you. We get shit done. Well, better late than never. We do it the right way or we don't do it at all. We fix something that stays fixed. As I was saying, live from Las Vegas, Nevada, this is The Irrational Male. There you go. No, I have to do this from my studio at home today. I'm still wondering why it's not picking up. But I think I figured it out now. It's actually I had audio set for default rather than my board. Good now. Did you not hear it right now? Oh, you just said. You guys hear the? You guys got the? There we go. Okay, there we go. I have Black Mountain. Would you like me to put that on there? I could. It's actually one of my things. Okay, let's see if we can make this work again. Let's go back to here. And this is the thing I hate about the new media assets. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this. Okay. All right.
The male loneliness epidemic isn't just a social issue, it's a business model. Social media companies figured out that the isolated, angry men click more, buy more, stay online longer. So they feed them red pill videos, Sigma male grinds, hustle culture, outrage bait, lonely.
Did you like that? Did you catch that? Sigma male grinds. I got it. I took it off. Don't worry. The echo's gone.
Men are profitable, and women, they've shown perfect lives, glow ups, dating advice that makes them spiral. Because anxious, insecure women buy more, buy that skincare that makes you prettier, buy that lipstick that fits you just right because of your skin tone, feminine energy coaching, whatever makes them feel almost enough. Male rage gets monetized, female doubt gets commodified, and the algorithm wins while we lose each other. The algorithm isn't neutral, it's sexist, it's strategic, it's profitable.
And it gives you exactly what you're looking for.
And it's selling us loneliness differently by gender.
See, this is the shit I hate about this stuff. Is like, no, the algorithm is dependent on what your interests happen to be. If your interests happen to be looking for answers to your girlfriend problems, that's what it's going to give you.
Whoa. Who said that? Who said that? You're not broken. The system is.
Say my name.
A woman will gaslight you. I wish someone would have told me this at a younger age, but I'm telling y'all, if you try to lead them, they will tell you, this is what they're going to tell you. If you try to lead them, they will tell you you're controlling. You could tell a bitch to put on a seatbelt and she gonna be like, you ain't my daddy. Who you talking to? You gonna be like, bro, like, for real, I swear on everything.
All right. What do you think he's going to say about setting boundaries? Somebody put what you think he's going to say for setting boundaries. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
If you set boundaries, this is what they will tell you. They're gonna tell you you insecure. You say, hey, you dressed a little too provocative. Oh, you insecure. I should be able to wear what I want. Baby, you shouldn't stay out in the streets. It's 2 a.m. Oh, I'm a grown woman. I can do whatever I want. You too insecure for me. They gonna just swipe on to the next.
Okay. What's he gonna say if you disagree with him?
All right, if you disagree with women, you sassy. As soon as you disagree with them,
I don't know if I would agree with that part, but that's pretty funny as hell.
And say something back, you a motherfucking sassy monster. This is what I'm telling y'all what it is. You a sassy monster. Now, this is my favorite one right here. This is especially true with black women. If you just criticize how women behave or critique how women behave, this.
Okay. What's he going to say if you criticize? Come on. Abusing? Okay. That's a pretty good one.
Is especially true with black women.
Hey.
You're fucking gay.
You didn't see that coming, did you? Oh my God, that's fucking great. Where is it? Do I have that one? I don't know if I have that one loaded. Oh well, you can have this instead.
Emotional damage.
Independent, and she pays her own bills, and she takes care of herself.
Then she's an average adult. Dude, our society needs to stop treating women like children deserving of admiration for accomplishing the most trivial of tasks. You wanted the patriarchy to be ended so bad. And
okay, do you remember the chick, like about, I think it was 3 episodes ago, maybe 4, where I was like, the girl was up there talking about saying exactly the same thing. Like these videos have been making the rounds right now. It's like everybody wants credit for being just like a basic adult.
Here's the consequence. You're not a child. You're an adult. Congratulations to adulthood. That is so tough.
Yes. Assuming you have actually assumed the responsibilities for that. Let's see. Oh God, this is good.
Thick of bitches be 30 years old with 3 kids and still stingy with the pussy. You didn't make your baby father wait that's fucking broke and locked up and on mad fucking drugs. He got to crack right away. I'm better than him. How I don't get to crack right away? Bitch, if you like that and you got hella kids and you 30 years old, 25 years old with 3 fucking kids and you think I'ma wait for the pussy, suck my dick and take it personal. The fuck? Bitch, you better give it up on the first link, else you will not get another response from me. There is no conversation, no talking points, no none of that, bitch. I am not going to talk to you if you don't let me crack on the first link. After you let 3 bums nut in you and reproduce with them. And you think I'm about to wait and I know the 3 bums you let nut in you? Suck my dick and go fuck yourself.
All my friends have noticed that the man has stopped making the first move. All my girlfriends are like, they're waiting. It's the 3rd date, 4th date, a week later. He hasn't gone in for the kiss. He doesn't do any touch or anything.
I just don't know what's going to happen. And I'm worried that and all my friends and like, we're all going to end up single.
I realized today that I have nothing to offer a man. Nothing. And I feel like it took, number one, it took me 32 years to realize it because I just found that out today. So I was today years old when I realized it. And then it took me a lot of pride swallowing to be able to admit it. I'm going to tell you why I feel the way I feel. This is not based off anyone else. This is only based off myself. But I just wanted to share it just in case it may help somebody else. I feel like I don't have anything to offer to a man because a man asked me what I had to offer him. And it was the way he asked that made me realize that I don't. He simply stated, I realize that you're single, but tell me what would I benefit from having you as my woman?
See, like this is some basic stuff, right? And the thing that gets me is like MGTOWs want recognition for that. They think that they're the ones that are responsible for all this going down. No, you're not. You're really not. Because you're not doing anything. Like literally, I mean, by definition, you're going your own way. So it's not because they're like, oh, well, they're all, hey, where'd all the men go? We better go find them. Oh, they went MGTOW. Please come back, Mr. MGTOW. No, they're not. They're doing this because of red pill content producers, not black pill content producers, not white pill, not none of that. I mean, Andrew Wilson, perhaps, myself, Ryan Stone, Myron Gaines, a few other notables women are finally starting to take notice of this stuff, but this is just basic red pill stuff right here that we've been talking about for like 2 decades right now. This has nothing to do with MGTOWs just picking up and walking away. And they're not looking for you, Mr. MGTOW. Trust me on that one.
Now, outside of the basics, like, oh, I look nice, I can cook, I work, I didn't have nothing else to offer. And the reason I realized that I didn't is because I got to thinking about myself, and all I've been doing for so many years is just working and taking care of kids. I don't know necessarily what I'm into, so there goes hobbies. I'm not necessarily sure my feminine level of energy because majority of my relationships, I wore the pants. So how can you, as a woman, offer to be a woman to a man if you've never fully been a woman? I am a woman because I'm a female, but I'm talking about like actually be a woman, like to a man. I've never experienced that, so I don't know what that feels like. So I can't honestly say that I have anything to offer as far as a woman outside of just being a woman. So that means all I really do have to offer is some pussy because I'm a woman and we have one. That's really not enough. I can't honestly say I can offer you a nurturing environment.
See, this is the answer that we expected to hear from Tommy Lahren that would never be forthcoming.
Because I'm too frustrated about the children that I have and the lack of help that I have with them. So it's like I can't necessarily be so nurturing to you when I'm frustrated at the amount of nurturing that I'm already doing. So therefore, I know I can't offer you that. I can offer cooking for you, but then to me, it comes at a price because if you're coming and you're sitting and you're eating my food and you're not providing any of it, I'm going to feel away. So now I'm offering you bitterness. That's not anything a man wants. Why would you want a bitter female? Well, I'm bitter because of my own merits. So it's not your job to fix the bitterness. It's my job to fix. As much as I want a man to come to me ready, able to provide, work, and handle himself, I think that me as a female, I need to have my emotions in check because if a man wants peace, I don't have any because I'm frustrated.
As I said, there's no such thing as peace from a woman, period. It's like, stop it with the bullshit about, oh, I need him to be my peace.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Married to a good man who ultimately was not my man. And I knew that pretty early on. I knew that maybe 3 hours into our first date. I knew that 6 months in when we got engaged. And I knew that again and again and again. But I didn't want to know.
But you still went through with it.
That because I really wanted the relationship to work. And I think what was so hard was that we were good friends. We had a great time together. I loved the work he was doing. I loved the way we collaborated. And on paper, everything looked like a good match.
But he didn't beat me. And he didn't have 6-pack abs. And he didn't have a dark triad personality traits. And he wasn't exciting, and he wasn't the roller coaster I was looking for.
But I still knew that something was missing. It's funny because I lead journaling workshops, and I always ask people, what truth are you afraid to admit to yourself and why? And it was the question that I avoided the most, because the truth I was afraid to admit to myself is that I no longer wish to be in my marriage. Admitting that to myself.
No, you didn't want to be in it in the first place. Did you miss the first 30 seconds of the conversation you just said?
Meant I'd have to blow everything up. And in a lot of ways, it was good and comfortable. There were so many reasons to try and make it work.
Yeah, except for one big reason. Boring.
Because it was more convenient. But I ultimately realized I didn't want to live a life that was convenient. I wanted to live a life that was courageous.
No, you wanted to live a life that was exciting. You wanted to live a life where the dude was dealing drugs or coming home at all hours. You wanted to live a life that was more exciting than the one you had agreed to that you knew you didn't want to get into, but you did anyway.
I feel like I just took a bath in battery acid.
First meet a guy, how do you decide if he's going to be a friend or more than a friend? And more importantly, when do you decide? Because it's often said a woman will know right away.
Vibes, energy. You can feel it in the energy.
Jesus, Joseph and Mary.
Have you ever had a dream that you want?
If you don't connect with somebody right away, then I feel like there's no point.
Vibes equal Chad. You are one way. Go to the head of the class. Wait, there it is. Vibes equal Chad. Now, comparing there's a reason I put these two videos back to back. I think you guys figured out the formula here. Okay.
Like, there's no point at all. Why would you have to work for it when there's people out there when it's just like a snap, like you just feel it?
You can tell if you're attracted to somebody instantly, but I also have had bonds that have grown, so you can't really tell.
Are you still with the bonds who have grown? No. That's why you're single in Las Vegas right now.
I don't care what people say. You can have an instant attraction, but it can grow.
I was married and I got unmarried because I had an instant attraction with somebody one time.
Now, remember what they said about the algorithm, like feeding you, like, oh, the algorithm is feeding you like red pill stuff that just ultimately going to destroy your like mind and your psyche. It's like, no, this isn't the algorithm that's feeding this. This is the women that are out on the street that are feeding you this. God, do I want to put this guy on? Yeah.
That Andrew Tate made in a reply to me on X. Nobody gets married anymore because of women like her. Men are men, always have been and will be. He's allowed, she isn't. Telling men if they touch another girl at any point in their lives equals financial decimation is why nobody gets married anymore. Now, I responded and said, I disagree. Loyalty and integrity are essential virtues for a man. If you make a vow before God, you keep it. Sneaking around with another woman while your wife is at home with your children is a violation of the promise you made to her and to God, and therefore unmanly.
All right, we're going to play the God card. You know, I'm going to come back to this one. It's this one's too easy, but I have to finish off here with this guy.
Lawyers are now seeing a wave of divorces caused by red pill content.
Oh, really? How many? What's the wave look like? How crazy is that? Like, how many are we? Are we seeing a wave? Are we seeing like hundreds, thousands? Because according to Matt Walsh and the rest of these guys, divorce is on the decline, brah.
Let's talk about it. According to a CBC report, men are bringing red pill ideas into their marriages by demanding.
CBC? You mean Christian Broadcast Center or something like that? Is that what that's from? What's CBC? CBC is Christian something or other. I'm pretty sure Christian Broadcast Communications.
Obedience and treating their wives like subordinates. A Canadian family lawyer says he's seeing a trend of men getting sucked into misogyny.
Somebody look up CBC.
Ideals, and the marriage starts to unravel. One woman said her husband became controlling after binging this bullshit.
Yeah, well, maybe they're mistaking controlling for leading in the family. Canadian broadcasting. Oh, well, that's well, by all means, let's throw those guys out.
She said it was like he forgot I was his wife and started treating me like a servant. Red pill is not just content. Studies have shown that men who consume red pill media show lower levels of emotional intelligence.
Yeah, lower levels of emotional intelligence and higher levels of empirical intelligence.
Higher levels of loneliness and a hostility towards women.
From where? Please quote, cite sources, or shut the fuck up.
So not only is red pill content keeping men single, it's ruining relationships. Some of these men lose custody, fall into depression, and
lose custody. Of what? The custody of children that they didn't have in the first place?
Double down on the manosphere. Just remember, the red pill is poison, no matter when you take it.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Right. Oh, well, maybe he's right. He has a
listen, Habibi. Listen, Habibi.
Go cover your head,
Habibi. What? She has opinions.
Oh, what? What?
Opinions.
What?
And a driver's license.
What? Unacceptable!
Astaghfirullah.
She has a driver's license?
She has a driver's license with opinions.
Off with her head! Come here, woman!
Oh! This the mosque, ain't it?
This the mosque, ain't it?
This is all alleged.
Remember, this was in the old studio just to show you how outdated this one was. I thought it was pretty fucking funny. I haven't seen that one in a while. Mike Siler, hat tip to Mike Sartain, who sent me that this morning. He says, you should use this on the show. No, Mike, I love you, Mike, but that was an old one. She has opinions on a driver's license. Oh, welcome to the show. Welcome to my show. Look, I got the second one. Which one would you like the best? This one's good. It's better. Look, and brought to you by Double Mountain Coffee, even though I don't have my cup today. Sorry about that. How are we doing? Hi, how you doing? Wait, hold on.
Good afternoon. Hi there. How are you? My name's Pat Campbell, radio talk show host from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And of course, I'm joined today by Rollo Tomasi, the rational male. This is Red Pill 101.
I still have that clip. I have that clip available. That's actually an intro. I should use that sometime. Yeah, you like that? Let's see. I got to get through announcements here first. I want to start by telling you guys about the Reignite Las Vegas event that's coming up in 2 weeks. Okay. So here's the deal. Okay. I have to give you the script. Okay. So I'm going to give you the script. Okay. Start the clip here. Most guys know theory. They can quote the iron rules of Tomasi up and down. They already know iron rule of Tomasi number 1, or they can talk about on podcasts. But the truth is, until you live it, it's just intellectual masturbation. So what I'm doing this August is I'm hosting a private immersion. I even hate calling it an immersion, but it's an immersion. It's in Las Vegas. It's with a small group of guys. Registration's going quick, so if you want to get involved, please do. These are guys who are all ready to go out there and get things done. You've heard me talk about this before. I mentioned this on Access Vegas several times. I've mentioned it on this channel several times. But the red pill is theory and game is the practice. And so one informs the other. I explained this to Mystery, of all people, very recently. And Mystery would be more along the lines of game, whereas I'm more along the lines of the theory side of things, obviously. So with that said, the immersion, the Las Vegas meetup that we have coming up is going to be, technically it'll be from the August 12th until August 15th. Officially, though, the official program is from August 13th to August 15th, culminating, of course, on August 14th, which is going to be at the Babes in Toyland Charity Gala. Okay. So what's going to happen here is you guys are going to be able to train with me. You're going to be able to bond with a lot of guys who are like-minded guys. I always get this from dudes all the time where they're saying like, well, Rollo, how do I find like-minded dudes? I'm from a small town, or I just started reading your stuff, and it's really kind of, I don't say isolating, but it's alienating not to be able to talk about this stuff with other guys who really understand it. Well, I'm going to be providing that for you guys. So please, if that's something that you're looking for, do you want to connect with guys who are like-minded guys? This is your event. It's not a pickup boot camp. This is about mastering frame in the real world. Okay. So the last thing I got to tell you guys is nothing gets done unless you guys go out there and do it. And so this is the practice side of things. We don't just do, in-house stuff. We don't just do classroom stuff. We actually go out and do things. As I've said before, I'm of the opinion that guys need to get together and sort of form bonds over shared interests. I'm of the opinion that guys need to make connections by doing things, by solving problems, by just doing things that they like to do. So to me, that's deep sea fishing. And we already did that. That was already done in Miami this year. And it was very popular. And I had a lot of people who were saying that they really wanted to do it again. And so do I. So on this trip, we've got a few things lined up, and we're scheduling more. So what I'm going to be doing, what we're going to do this trip is we're going to be doing quad riding. We're going to be going out on ATVs. We've got that already set up. Then we also have, let's see, we also have Top Golf is coming up. And we also have a gun range day. So we're going to go out and shoot guns. So because those are the things that guys wanted to do. And so that's what we took it upon ourselves, myself and Joe Marin. You guys already know Joe. He's my partner in my business partner in all of this. And the best part of this is it not only gives you a chance to be a part of like a tribe of guys, it also puts you into let's just say target rich environments. It puts you into areas where most guys wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to go. And in this case, that's going to be, of course, the Babes in Toyland Charity Gala that's coming up on August 14th. That will be at the Sahara, and it will be at a club called Azillo. And Azillo is fantastic. We did this last year, and we decided to expand it this year. So in keeping with the Reignite meetup, August is really, I want to say August is probably our best time to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to be putting you into situations where you're going to be around elite level women. And you're going to actually be able to have conversations. You'll be able to practice at this, because the best part about these events is they're not really blaring loud club music. You'll be able to actually carry on conversations. You'll be able to practice your skills. You'll be able to, and even if you're not actually even practicing those skills, at least you're there and you're out in an environment where you're sort of forced into a situation where you're immersed in it. That's why they call it immersion. And of course, I work very closely with Mike and his group, MOA. I'm also talking with guys from Mysteries group too. And so I know that they've got a boot camp going on this week, and I'm fairly sure he's going to be around for the Babes in Toyland event as well. So with that said, just let me ask you this question. Just going to keep reading about it, or are you going to do something about it? Please, we keep reading my books, but that's the long and the short of it. So that's my pitch. There's your pitch. I had to give you a pitch. Now, if you guys are interested in joining us, again, you don't have to be a member of Reignite. I would like you to become one. That is our school community. We have a very vibrant school community. I do a once a week call for about an hour, sometimes a little bit longer. Usually I'm doing it on Wednesday, so I'm kind of pressed for time because I have to go do Access Vegas, which, by the way, is now going weekly. So if you guys dig on the conversations that we have on Access Vegas, and I gotta say, the last one was really good. And the one before that with Mystery on there, I got to say, was probably one of the best ones we've ever done. If you haven't seen those, go ahead and check out the most recent two. Especially the one with Mystery on it, I thought was fantastic because some of the conversations we had. Now, I know a lot of people were asking me, they're saying like, Rollo, why didn't you talk to Mystery more? It was, you had this opportunity to have him on there. Yes, I know. I didn't know he was going to be on, quite honestly. I sure as hell didn't know that Sean Kelly was going to be on that show either. And so, we're trying to, the thing about Access Vegas is we really try to encourage like cross conversations without too much cross talk, I guess. But we want to get everybody involved. And sometimes that, it wasn't really about like myself or Mystery, although I guess we kind of made it about ourselves on a few occasions. But I am going to be working out a one-on-one, and I'm going to make it a live stream with Mystery when I do so. So that I was actually planning on doing it for this show, but Kyle is on vacation this week, so I couldn't set that up. But the good news is that Mystery is doing a boot camp here in Las Vegas this week, and if you want to check that out, just go to his Instagram and just look up Mystery PUA, I think. And you'll find it, but he's doing a Vegas boot camp right now, and I'm gonna, because I know he's here for at least the next 2 weeks, so I'm gonna see because he'll be up here for the MOA Summit. And the MOA Summit is coming up on August 2nd. I'm going to be speaking at that. Mystery will be speaking at that, and if I can rope Miguel from MOA into all of this, I'm going to see if I can't do a one-on-one with Mystery at the MOA Summit, just so we're just sort of bouncing ideas off of each other and just doing Q&As and things like that. So if I can make that happen, a lot of people really wanted to see myself and Mystery together, and I have been hanging out with the guy. I think he's fantastic, and I like where things are going with him. He's a little on the emotional side. He's a little kind of like on the spacey side. Everything's kind of like vibing and everything, but he very much understands the game, obviously. And but he plays the game very well. And I've said this before, is like, women don't want to be told that they're playing a game. They want you to be a superior player of the game. And I will tell you this right now, Mystery is if not the best, he is one of the best at playing that game. So he knows all the stuff that Mike and I talk about. It's just that he is a master of vibing I'll talk about that in a little bit because I had that one chick was saying, "Oh, well, you know it when you're vibing." Chad is the vibe. But if you are interested in the Reignite meetup that we're doing, as I said before, you don't have to be a member of Reignite, but it is going to cost you $9.97. And if you want to be involved in that, if you happen to be in the area at the time, we'd love to have you. We have had, in fact, one of the guys who was on the fishing trip was not a member of Reignite, but he watches my show and he's a fan of the books, and so he wanted to be on board and he wanted to come and hang out with us, and so that's what he did. And so the weekend, like I said, is going to cost you $9.97, and you can get more information. You could register for it in the very first link that's in the description down below. And I swear to God, it is the one that goes directly to the event and not just Reignite. So if that's all you want to do and that's your level of commitment, please do, because I guarantee you that if you come to this event and you come and you check out what it is that we do, you're gonna be interested. You're gonna at the very least be curious enough to want to get in at just the base level, because we have different tiers of membership, obviously, like everybody else does. But you probably would want to get in at the base tiers. Now, if you're already a member of Reignite, you're already in, so you guys can go. We're just cool like that. And as I said, when I put this group together, when I put Reignite together, I did it because I had too many people asking me to do it. I wasn't like, how can I expand my empire? Because there's so many guys doing this. Like Mike does this. Obviously, Mystery does this. Rich Cooper does this. John from MLD does this. They always have they've got their groups, and they're a little sort of like, they're kind of like isolated societies, right? They're sort of compartmentalized, I guess would be the word for it. And I don't want that. I want there to be more. Dude, what the hell, brother, man? Do we have to have this? Like, is that what you're gonna? I know. Well, Sam's in the house. He'll just drop the band hammer on you too. Why would you think that, Cody? Please expand. You know what? I'm not even gonna ban you. Expand on that. I want to know why. Why do you think that? Or should I say Glenn Lawrence? Tell me why. For what? How? I would love to know. Please tell me. Okay, let's just go ban all you guys. Jeez. Like, here's the thing that gets me is, like, I always wonder, like, why guys do this. Like you, how many calories did it take for you to create a new account? Like, I'm just going to ban each and every one of your accounts, right? Like, why even bother? Right? See, why even bother? Keep going. Come on, keep going. Let's ban all of your accounts let's get through them, because there's got to be at least 4 or 5 more, right? Are they bots? Well, they could be bots, I suppose. There we go. Okay, let's ban Face and LMS. Oh boy, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Man, at least be creative with your scams. Face and LMS. When are they still around? Are they still doing stuff? Okay, let's ban this guy. All right, keep going. Come on, let's work our way through them. There we go. Steve the Wall Beater. Like, come up with some like better names. Darius Rucker. There we go. Okay. Well, okay, got that one. Let's keep going. Come on, give me some more. Throw the other ones out. You went into all this trouble to make all of these things. Musketeer Gooner. Got it. Okay. Let's keep going. A little more. Oh, there it is. Scribe Face Pics on YouTube. Scribe Face Pics. Okay. And come on. A little more. There it is. Okay. This one is, come on. This is not even creative. There we go. Keep it going. Yep. There it is. Yep. Keep going. There we go. Come on, bring some more. Jamal Green. He doesn't like the black folk either. Okay, let's keep going. Let's flush him out of there. Jake Adderall Addict. Oh, it's not the Jake I know. No, I'm not Jewish. Thank you. And let's see. Everybody just wants to spam the chat today. Jake Adderall Addict. Like, why? Why is that one? You know what's funny is the more you guys do this, the more you guys help me out. You realize that, right? Because the thing is like, and Sam, if you would be so kind as just to like ban these idiots. The thing is as I was saying before on the last channel or on the last show, YouTube no longer counts like views, just like click on the view and go and leave. Squirtle the turtle. It needs qualified engagement. So the only thing you guys are doing is boosting me up in the algorithm by doing this. Because if you are putting chat, if there's a lot of chat engagement, it considers that a qualified view. So what's a qualified view? It's not enough to just click on a video now and get a view. Like you have to engage with the video. So that means you have to either be active in the comments, which you are. Thank you very much. And then also be active in the live chat, which you are. Thank you very much. And then you can either like the video. It doesn't matter. You can be up or down. If you engage with the video in some way, then that's a qualified view. So every time you guys come on here and you want to put you want to drop the N-bomb on my channel, all you're doing is helping boost me in the algorithm. So please keep going. Maybe I shouldn't ban you at all. Just please keep going, because all you're going to do is boost me up in the algorithm. Like you guys hate me so much. Great. I'm glad, but all you're doing is helping me. So I want to talk about a couple of things today. Obviously, the title of today's show is Red Pill ruining relationships. I'm going to riff on a video here in just a moment. And no, it's not the Matt Walsh video. And no, it's not that goofball Red Pill hater guy, which is interesting because I love how we just like the presumption is that he's just going to drop these stories from what New Canadian Broadcast Center, something like that, commission, communists, Canadian broadcast communists, and that is in some way going to qualify the bullshit, right? Okay, that's Canada. This is not the United States. This is Canada. So are you saying that divorce attorneys in Canada are seeing a spike in divorce as a result of the red pill? I would be curious to know that. I mean, really, I want to know what do the numbers look like? In fact, I would love to know, maybe I should get Jim Sexton back on here just so we can have this conversation and let's say, hey, Jim, how are you seeing a spike because of the manosphere? Because I think that, call me crazy, but I think that the divorce industry doesn't need any help from the manosphere. They do pretty well on their own. So, but before I do, let me run through these right quick. I'll rifle through these. You had to ask that question in the thumbnail after what happened to the T app. Would you like me to go through the T app? I'm going to go through the hell yeah. Let's just do that right now. Okay. Since you asked, FYI, Bob, here we go. Which one is it? Oh, these are the chicks. Hold on. These are the guys. All right. So yes, I'm aware. You guys didn't think I was going to do this. I am. These are the guys. These are the thumbnails of the guys that are on the new T app. And I keep seeing this T app going over and over. There used to be another app, and I want to say it was called like Eve, or there was another app that was very similar to this. There's also a website or a forum called Don't Date Him Girl. So the thing about this is that gets me about the whole app thing. It's been done before. Why are we like panicking about this? You know why we're panicking? Because we haven't heard about it in a while. There was a forum called Don't Date Him Girl, or Are We Dating the Same Guy? And all it was pretty much the same thing that the app is doing here. And everybody's losing their shit over it. And I'm like, why are you losing your shit on this? Because it's just the same thing that has been going on for a while. What was the other one? There was another app, and I don't know how long it lasted, but I remember there was an app that was similar to this. I want to say, it was back in the Pat Campbell days. It must have been like 2018, I think. There was another app that was very similar to this. So I thought probably that I didn't pay this much mind because people started losing their shit over it. And I'm like, well, isn't this the same app we've been talking about for a while now? And I guess it's not. And maybe if you know something about this that I don't, please chime in. I'll be happy to read your comment. But apparently there's been a leak, and it's not the most secure app in the world, ladies. So you might want to think twice if you're going to use this app. But anyways, these are the thumbnails of the guys that the ladies want to run up the flagpole, right? And is he a quality dude? Is he somebody I could vouch for? Blah, blah, blah. Well, just by the nature of the app itself, like tea, like spilling the tea, like the whole thing about it is, unless that's an acronym of some sorts. But these guys don't look with the exception of a notable few, these guys don't look maladjusted. They don't look like necessarily bad dudes. Now, it might be that the thumbnails of these guys were selectively picked, but what's this guy in the red down here? A few of them look a little bit like whack, but the other dudes aren't that, they don't look that bad. So these are the dudes, and then again, I'm just going by looks here, obviously, but they don't look like malcontents, right? They don't look like riffraff, but these women look like riffraff. Okay, these are the women doing the rating. Okay, so explain to me, red pill hater guy, the red pill critics who think that the red pill is ruining relationships. Explain to me why these ladies would participate in an app that would run these guys up the flagpole. If there weren't some kind of truth to what the red pill's been saying. And you guys already know where I'm going to go with this. And I think a lot of people would like me to get back to the nuts and bolts kind of stuff. And I'm going to clarify terms here in just a second, but be that as it may, these are the dudes, and these are the leaked pictures or the leaked thumbnails of the chicks that are on there now. These chicks did not like the fact that this was made public, and I'm making it even more public. I don't know who these people are, but when you signed up for the app, that's on you, bitch. So putting these things out there is it's part of me, let's say, afflicting the comfortable and comforting the afflicted. Okay, so the ladies on here don't look like any great catches themselves, and I would almost be a little bit weirded out by a few of these. In fact, so let's go line by line. Okay, so let's go with line 1. There are no attractive women on that one. Line 2, no attractive faces as far as I can tell. Line 3, there's a big old forehead in that one. No, don't look all that hot to me. None of these girls look like girls that you would find on Access Vegas. You never notice that, like, the more homely a girl is, the more problems she has with guys. Certainly guys like this. I mean, some of these dudes are not bad looking. I mean, no homo, but like if you look at the guy who is at the top there, and he's the third one in from the right, the guy with the pecs and everything, he looks like he works out. And these bitches are complaining about this dude. The only thing I think that they could be complaining about is the fact that he's not fucking bitches that look like them. So I'm just a little bit curious as to like what the motivations are here. So you're going to tell me that incels and red pill guys are poison. The red pill is poison. No, these bitches are poison, dude. So like, let's be a little bit, what kills me is like whenever I bring up anything that is critical or unflattering to female nature, obviously there's always some white knight dude who has to pop. It's not even white knight. Most of these guys don't even realize they're doing this. But what they do is they say, well, yeah, men do that, but women do that, or women might do that, but men do it too. Well, here's an example of that. Here's a great example of that. But the problem is it's in reverse. And it's like, well, guys, remember how horrible it is to be in the locker room and have like Joe talk to Mike about this one girl, and oh man, I can't believe he would rate her. He would say she's a HB9 or HB7 or whatever, or oh, that sounds very like frat boyish. And we will, I think I remember I think it might have been the UK or it might have been the United States, I'm not sure, but like there were kids, like guys, like boys as young as like 12, 13, 14 years old, and they kept lists of who was the hottest girls in their class, right? Okay, this is like 10, 12, 13, 14-year-old boys. And we think of, if we find that list, we think that it is it is an indictment on the red pill. It is an indictment. Oh, Andrew Tate told them to keep a list to rate them as 1 to 10. We've been rating women between 1 and 10 for forever. Hell, there was a movie called 10 with Bo Derek in it. You guys don't even remember that 10? It was actually a movie called 10. Where did they get that 1 to 10, the 1 to 10 scale? And so guys have been doing that for like, men rate women. Let's just be honest. Okay? And why? Because that's the only metric that men have to qualify women is their looks. That's all there is. And it's like so like ladies, it's so easy. Oh, I don't want to be judged and rated just for my looks. Well, you do the same thing. You're doing it right here. These ladies are doing exactly the same thing. Hell, they made an app. At least the guys did. At least those boys didn't make an app. They just wrote it on a piece of college ruled notebook paper. They didn't broadcast it. They didn't make it available, other than I guess maybe they're amongst their friends. And then so now we think this is endemic of like bro culture or something like that. What about bitch culture? Bro and bitch culture. The T app. Yeah, that won't last much long. Yeah, that's going away soon. Trust me, because when you look like this and you're rating dudes like this, and then your thumbnails get leaked. Like, I wonder how many of these chicks are married, and they just want to talk shit. It's like their hobby is to, because like it's when it comes to like female intuition and everything. It's just like the reason why the T app is popular. It's popular for the same exact reason that The Bachelor is what, in its 29th or 30th season right now. 30 years, a year is a season a year. Maybe it's less than that. I don't know, but like we're talking close to certainly 20 years of The Bachelor, and The Bachelor Golden Years, The Bachelorette, The Bachelor, Love Island, all this other bullshit, right? The reason why those shows are popular is the same reason why the T app is popular. They just want to talk shit and rate guys, and the reason for that, and I'm going to give you that's in bolts time. The reason for that is because women like to rate guys and collectively try to rate guys because they can't rely on their feminine intuition to be 100% accurate all the time. Now, for women, when it comes to assessing the value and assessing the quality of a guy, women have a lot greater criteria for that. So, like, for instance, dude at the top there with his pecs and everything, or a shirtless dude, or even the dude with a cat, for Christ, or two guys with the cats, right? Like, dude, like, what are you doing? Only Mike Sartain can get away with holding cats in his thumbnails, and Mike doesn't do that. So, but the reason why those shows are popular is because it stimulates the want to figure out whether or not a guy is who he says he is. You want to know what, like when I talk about shit tests, like there's two types of shit tests. What are they? Okay. The first one is the active shit test, and then the passive shit test. The active shit test or fitness test, if you prefer, is the one where women will like try to rib you, or they want to see if you can play the game. They want to know that you have verbal banter, right? You can play along. Remember when I tell you, like, women want you to, they don't want to be told that they're playing a game. They want you to be a superior player of that game. And so what happens is they will shit test you at the club or at the bar, or when they first meet you, or it could be just a social, like, hell, you could be Bible study, for crying out loud. Women will just give you shit just to see if you can play along, so that you are what you say you are. Are you really the dude that you're presenting yourself? Are you congruent? Are you the guy that are you who you say you are? And the way that women go about that is not by just simply asking you, are you the guy? It's not like a business or like a job interview or a legal proceeding or something like that. Sir, Rollo Tomasi, are you who you say you are? Yes, I swear on this stack of Bibles that I am who I swear on the Lord that I'm going to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Like, it doesn't work that way. And women don't want it to work that way. That's why the T app is popular. That's why The Bachelor is popular, because they don't want that. They don't want that. They want you to play the game, because if you can play the game and you have social skills, if you have game period, please go to reignite.com, reignitealpha.com. But if you are a good player of the game, that's all that matters. Like, well, guys will say, well, Rollo, you won the genetic lottery. You have a jawline, blah, blah, blah. You're yoked, whatever. Okay, but that's fine. And that's definitely a force multiplier, but I still have to be able to socialize and be a good, demonstrate social skills. And by the way, those social skills, even especially at my age, they evolve over the course of your life. So if you are like, I'm 57, the social skills I had at 27, not the same ones, but they were well enough that I could get laid on a regular basis. They were well enough that I could carry on a conversation with people who were younger than me or older than me. It's not, social skills aren't just limited to game. They're expansive. You have to use them for your work and just interacting with human beings in general. So the thing is like, what happens is, in our ancestral past, in our evolutionary past, women had to determine whether a guy was who he said he was. And rather than, you couldn't just up and ask, you had to make sure that he was who he says he was, because women want an honest opinion, and they can't get that directly from the guy, and they can't trust their feminine intuition as much as they like to think it's some sort of magical, empathetic, like supernatural powers of empathy. They don't have supernatural powers of anything. And if they did, or if they did, I should say, they sure as shit wouldn't be bothered to go and ask their girlfriends on a T app whether or not this guy is who he says he is. Basically, the app is just to give guys a bunch of grief. I get that. But eventually, but why? Why is that so consuming for women? Well, because those skills after a while atrophy. The intuition atrophies. It's very enjoyable for women to do that. Women love to play the game. They love to flirt. They love to give shit tests. They love communication. They get a dopamine hit from that communication. That's why women will, you want to know why women form more social networks than men, is because they actually take enjoyment. It's a pleasurable experience for women to communicate, because women communicate in a different way than men do. Men communicate, they say what they mean and they mean what they say. It's very information-based. It is content-based communication, which is what I'm doing right now with you. I'm giving you content. I'm giving you information. You can sort out how you feel about that later. That's how men do it, right? It's instinct, reason, and then emotion. For women, it's instinct, emotion, and then reason. And that emotion part that comes after the instinct part, that's where the communication takes place. So when women say, hey, let's go catch up at Starbs and hang out and talk. It's been a long time, girl. We need to catch up, right? And when women communicate, they communicate like this. Hi, how you doing? Oh, yeah, it's been so long. How are the kids? Da, 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 da. Oh, are you fucking Joe? Oh, no, you're not. I divorced him. But like, it's a straight ahead. For guys, it's, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? Like, you're looking out this way. We're looking at the horizon. We're looking at the vista. We're looking at the TV. We're looking at whatever is going on. We don't, oh, hi, how are you doing? The guys don't make that eye contact thing. And the thing is women think that men are like emotionally stunted, or they don't have emotional intelligence as a result of it. Like, emotional intelligence is bullshit to begin with. And it's simply a fad, I should say. It's a psychological fad that women created back in the early 90s, mid 90s, to give veracity to the fact that, or to, I should say, reinforce the idea that they have some sort of emotional superiority over guys. That, oh, well, men might be intelligent when it comes to empirical, logical, reasonable, rational stuff, and they couldn't say that wasn't true. So they had to figure out another way to make themselves feel self-important. And that's how you get emotional intelligence. But they're not emotionally intelligent because society. No, we're built different. Our brains are the architecture of our brains, our synapses, our wiring is literally different. And it happens in the womb. It happens at the molecular level when we are being gestated in the womb. Our brains are not the same. We're not wired the same. We're different freaking animals. We're the same species, but we're certainly different when it comes to, we're more different than we are alike. And the thing that gets me is I remember I used to get run up the flagpole for that. And now I see guys like Steve Stewart Williams, Rob Henderson, and everyone else in between who's in some, hell, even Dr. David Buss, drink, and said this, you can, it's not hard to find. Go on Perplexity, go on ChatGPT. Don't go on Grok. Grok is compromised. I'm going to show you how it's compromised today too. But the reason why women like this kind of shit, right? The reason why they're digging on this stuff is because it stimulates that instinct to try to figure out if these guys are really who they say they are. And these are the women that are doing it. Do these women look like they have been like in the game for any amount of time? Do you think that you might be able to pick out like 3 or 4 that you might say, oh yeah, if I saw her at a club, I might, after 6 beers, I might do it. And these are not healthy women. But the thing is like women always have that same need to know. They want to figure out for themselves. There's nothing that is more self-satisfying to a woman than to think that she's figured out a man or figured out this guy's story based on her mythological feminine intuition. Well, ladies, if you had that, you wouldn't need other women to help you with that. That's why we need social. That's why there is such a thing as social proof and pre-selection. If other bitches want to get with a guy, then he's got pre-selection. He's already, these girls want to get with him. I want to get with him too. It's called mate choice copying. But even that, I'm not 100% on board with mate choice copying, but I do think that if a guy's hot and other women think he's hot, it's certainly a force multiplier. Like you can take Danny DeVito and you could say, well, these 10 girls think Danny DeVito is hot and they really want to get with him in the foam cannon party in Cancun and spring break. He's still 4 foot nothing and pot bellied and looks like a little chaos dwarf. Funny as hell. Don't get me wrong. I love you, Danny, but you're funny. I like you. But let's just be honest here. He's wouldn't be turning top shelf pussy if he wasn't Danny DeVito. In fact, is he still married to Rhea Perlman? But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how many women think him or Chris Farley or Seth Rogen, whoever, like you're the guys who are, that's the whole reason why the whole thing about like the dad bods and everything is so patently ridiculous is like, it doesn't matter how many women are going to say, I love dad bods. And then they want to get with The Rock. It's not just about social proof. There's other factors involved. Now, definitely a force multiplier. If you're hot and you have pre-selection and you're congruent, you're game on. But there's still a level of physicality and like social skills. You got to be congruent with your look. There's a lot that goes along with that. But that's certainly the entry point is physique for sure. But the reason why women rely on other women for pre-selection is because they can't rely just solely on that instinct. And why is that such an imperative for them? Because in our ancestral past, if a woman made a mistake about a guy, if they picked the wrong guy, vetted for him or whatever the fuck it is, even if he was the right guy, the guy could still die and she could still be pregnant with his children. She could die because women died in childbirth. They are the vulnerable sex. They still do really need men for protection, provisioning, and parental investment. Those things don't go away. I don't care how many guns you have. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how much how educated you are or how ambitious you are. I don't care about those things. The things that make a man attractive don't fucking change. So, but the things that do change sometimes are confounding factors in your attraction to that guy. So the first things first, he's got to be hot. He's got to have he's got to be at least physically attractive enough for that woman to be interested in the first place. And then we can go and add on stuff there. Provision, protection, and parental investment. And pretty much every quality that women name after good look, after looking good is a security. It's a long-term security quality. Emotional investment, emotional intelligence. That's all that is just can I relate with this guy? Can I vibe with this guy? Chad is the guy that they have to vibe with, but he still has to have he still has to be able to play the game. He can't be some gamma male nerd who, he can be good looking and might still want to fuck him even after that. But the thing is like, she's not going to want to get with that guy or stay with that guy because he's incongruent. Or if he's a little bit on the effeminate side, like I keep saying, he's like, guy can look like The Rock, but you put a pink ballet tutu on him, or he starts speaking with a lisp. That's incongruent with what you expect from a guy who looks like that, right? So the attraction kind of goes down. I'm not saying there's a certain baseline where women don't care, right? But that's why it's attractive, and that's why these bitches find it so fascinating. It's their pastime. It's a hobby to talk shit about guys. So it's what's funny to me is it seems like the T app is almost like engagement media for this new generation. It's not enough to just be able to talk around the water cooler about whether or not Brad or Michael or Jamal or whoever is going to be the perfect fit for the Bachelorette. Who's going to get the rose? Who's going to be like, is he really, she's not good. He's not good enough for her. Like that feeling of he's not good enough for her. That's what women want to experience. And they used to then before they got married and before they got fat, before they got ugly, before they got old, they loved that. That's why romance novels are so seductive for women. That's why T-app is seductive for women. That's basically the whole thing. It's just basically it's a more engaging, more personalized version of The Bachelor. Easy. Let's see. Rollo, you tagged you on a post on X about Pedro Pascal. Oh God. In what movie? All of them. And Vanessa Kirby from Fantastic Four. I saw it. Is she pregnant? She looked like she had a belly. And what many are pointing out as their overly intimate PDA while she has a fiance and is pregnant. Thoughts? Okay, well, so my thoughts are this. Someone said, I don't know who, I read this, but someone said that like Pedro has like social anxiety. And so he constantly needs reassurance. And she was giving that to him at the I don't know, the premiere or whatever. That's why she was like all over him. Or someone also said that they played husband and wife on Fantastic Four, right? It's Reed Richards and Susan Storm, I think it's who it is. Anyways, Invisible Girl and Stretchy Man, right? But maybe some of that carried over. Others are saying that it's just inappropriate on his part. I love how it's inappropriate on his part, but it's not inappropriate on her part. To my knowledge, Pedro Pascal does not have a girlfriend, and people keep saying he might be homosexual, but there's no confirmation for that. I asked that. I actually went and looked on Perplexity to see if there had been any kind of confirmation as to whether or not he has a boyfriend or something. He doesn't. So to the best of my knowledge, he is heterosexual, and he seems to be enjoying the sort of kino that is going on between the two of them. She certainly has some interest in the guy, and she has a fiance. She's not actually married. So something might've happened on set. I mean, stranger things have happened on movie sets. So, but I don't know if it's anxiety and she's just trying to be cool with him. I don't know if maybe he's just like, he might be a sex pest. It could be that could be part of it. So those are my thoughts on it. I don't necessarily know for sure. It seems like they like each other a lot. She is much taller than is that guy short? Like, I don't know. The guy seems like pretty on the short side. This is not actually a super chat, but I thought this was interesting. This is the content we want, Rollo. What content don't you want, Oliver Biscuit? Well, the reason why I starred that one is because I got into it with I do this every single time I talk about Michaela Peterson. I talk about Jordan Peterson. I could talk about David Buss. Let's see who else. Chris Williamson. And you know damn well if I talk about Destiny, Lauren Southern, Brittany Venti, or any other of these mongoloids, that somebody's going to pop off in the comments. And you know what the first comment is going to be? Well, the first comment is this: you're professionally jealous. Okay, let's get past that stupid comment. Okay. What the next one is Rolo, you always talk about this stuff. Rolo, you're all gossip. No, I don't. This is the first time in 18 months, 2 years that I've actually talked about Lauren fucking Southern. So don't call me gossip. Fuck you. This was like 2 years ago when all of this shit went down. So if you're going to say that every 2 years is all the time, please unsub from my channel and go fuck yourself. I'm sick to death of this. I do this once every year, maybe, if that. My content is not just dedicated to bad-mouthing Destiny or Lauren Southern or gossiping. And the only reason you use the term gossip is because you're trying to conflate it with bitch behavior. All I'm doing is clearing my name. And the reason why you don't want me clearing my name is because you know you're fucking wrong. You were wrong then, and you're wrong now. And you're heroes. Your DGG forum hero, Destiny, he's probably going to jail. And if he's not, he sure as shit should be in jail. The same thing with Not So Erudite, should be in jail. Both of them. And if it goes down, it goes down. And if not, and I hope whatever civil suit that gets filed against him, I hope he loses his ass. In fact, it would almost be better if he didn't go to jail and then he just slipped into obscurity, because that's probably the worst thing that could happen to him. The worst thing that could happen to Lauren too. Everything came full circle. All I did was just remind everybody about what was going on then and how I've cleared my name. So if you think I shouldn't clear my name, if you think that I'm a gossip for wanting to clear my name by doing one video in 2025 about this stuff, then I don't know what else to tell you, man. I don't always do this shit. Now I'm sure that probably wasn't your intent, comment, dude, but I'm a little bit upset about this shit, because it's like the whole thing when it comes to like, oh, you're a gossip. That's the first thing Destiny and the rest of these assholes said. When I called them out, when I said that Aaron McCready, who is Lauren Southern's ex-husband, told me these things. That's all I said. I didn't go, oh, can you believe it? Oh my gosh, let's call TMZ. I didn't go, let's call Access Hollywood. Or whatever the equivalent is for podcasts. I didn't say let's go on, sorry, MTR. Let's go on MTR's show and talk shit about Destiny. I didn't say that. All I did was a video saying, this is what the guy told me. And it's like, gossip. It's not gossip. I'm just telling you, I'm just relating to you what this guy said. But the reason why you say that, the reason why you want it to be gossip is because it's, oh, that's unmanly. So you're basically trying to silence me by saying that this is just hearsay and gossip. And guess what? It wasn't. It wasn't hearsay. It wasn't he said, she said. It was true. In fact, it was worse than true, especially if you read all the leaks from, I could read one to you now. Somebody sent me the last communication between Lauren and Destiny, and they are still in communication, by the way. But the last of the leaks, if you read the very last of the leaks, oh my God. Oh my God. So if I read them to you, am I a gossip? I guess maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'll just leave them alone. I'm already vindicated, so it doesn't make nothing off of me. I could care less. But I was right. And that's why you want to call it gossip, because I was right. That's why all this bullshit, like, remember when Destiny came down? Remember when I said that Destiny was like targeting the red pill guys and everything else? Remember when I told you about like, what was it? Progressive Victory and the DNC basically funded, basically buying these guys. I just read this morning that there is an investigation in the UK about political interests buying podcasters, buying influencers' voices, and basically by paying them to be their propaganda wing. I was right. Was right again. Is it gossip? No, it's a factual statement is what it is. It's an observation. Back then it might have been speculation. Now it's confirmed. So it's not gossip. I was right. You were wrong. Go fuck yourself. I'll keep talking about whatever the hell I want to talk about. The bull ring attracts lightning. Lightning fries the brain. Prove me wrong. The bull ring attracts the bull ring attracts lightning. Okay. Well, that was pretty funny though. What exactly is emotional intelligence and how do you measure it? You don't, because there's no such thing as emotional intelligence. You know why? Because I can control your emotions right now. I can control any woman's emotions. You know how I do that? Tequila. That's how you do it. Tequila makes her clothes fall off. I can control men's emotions. You know how I do that? 100 milligrams of Tren right now. I could just shoot you up with Tren. You'll definitely, that's a mood altering drug. Nothing intelligent about that, because emotions are part of our biology. Emotions are just a way of us processing our environment, the information that our environment presents to us. Fear, happiness, rage. I'm trying to think of the 5 base emotions, right? And then there's more complex emotions that are built off or combinations thereof of those emotions. I think it's 5 or it might be 7 base emotions. And each one of those, guess how you can control those? Well, through hormones for sure, through alcohol, through drugs, so if I can use a physical process to change the way that you feel about something, that's not intelligence. That's just making you feel something. So get out of here. Go wipe your ass with the emotional intelligence crap. There is no such thing as emotional intelligence. There's nothing cognitive about emotions. Okay. I can certainly change your mood. I can alter the way that you think about things. I can make you dumber. Just smoke a bowl of weed. You won't be able to do higher math. So that's going to affect your cognitive process, but it's also going to make you feel something too. So when we talk about like emotions as being some form of intelligence, all that is women wanting to say, me too, us too. We're going to raise our emotionality up to the level of rational, cognitive, logical, reasonable intelligence. No, you're not, because emotions aren't intelligence. They're feelings. As I keep saying, you want to know why women are overprescribed SSRIs, antidepressants? Because we've sold them on this idea that they can be permanently happy. What's happiness? Happiness is a base emotion. It's one of the 5 or 7. And we've taught them this idea that you not only can you be permanently happy, that you deserve to be, you're entitled to it. And if you can't achieve that, don't worry, girl. We've got Zoloft. We've got Xanax. We've got, I don't know, Adderall. We've got whatever it is. We got marijuana. We've got tequila. We've got some chemical way so that you never have to work to feel happy, because you cannot be happy. Happy is an emotion. Happiness is an emotion. So we can't be happy. We can do the things that make us feel the emotion of happiness, but happiness itself is not a state of being. There is no such thing as contentment. The human condition is defined by discontent. That means you ain't going to be happy. And if you're happy now, you won't be happy for long. You're going to be discontent at some point. I got my degree. I've got my bachelor's. Oh, now I need my master's. Oh, I got my master's. Now I need my doctorate. It's like, oh, I've climbed this mountain. Oh, but there's another mountain over there and it's high. Okay, well, I'm going to go and get to that one. And that's the thing, is like, that's one of the reasons why women aren't happy today, aren't like happy in a permanent sense. We've sold them this bill of goods. I keep telling, like, whenever I see these asshats talk about, well, women in marriages are happier. Men in marriage, men who get married are on the average happier than men who aren't married. I'm like, how do you use that as a metric? You mean in permanent happiness? That's not even what you're talking about, but you're going to use the term happiness. And every time you try to use happiness as a metric for success, someone is selling you something. And usually it's ideology. So you can't be happy. However, you can do shit that makes you feel happiness, that is intrinsically rewarding. So when I go to the gym, I feel pretty happy because I'm doing something, and I honest to God enjoy. I have intrinsic reward. I get a dopamine hit, I guess. I don't know what it is. I feel good when I go to the gym. Even if I'm just there for like half an hour, which I'm usually there a lot longer than that. But I like to go to the gym. I like to go fishing, deep sea fishing. You should come with us. Reignite, reignitealpha.com. I like doing Access Vegas, even though I don't make a lot of money at it. I don't make any money at Access Vegas. Unless you give me $100 super chat, I don't make any money. Hell, even this show is not worth, I don't do this show for the money. Because if you saw what my last take was from YouTube, you would have quit. Most guys would have quit this shit. But I do this because I like doing it. And it's outreach too, I guess. But the whole time when I was being ratioed by Diverting Hate and the DHS and the McCain Institute and all that stuff, which Lord knows if I still am or not, I'm still getting ratioed. I still don't make any. I haven't had a boost or a decline in subs and God knows how long. You know, YouTube has done something to the algorithm, and it's really kind of depressing for a lot of guys who, like, especially guys who haven't been doing this as long as I have, and they just give up. That's what they want them to do anyways. Give up. I ain't giving up because I like doing this. I like this shit. Call me a masochist or something. I play in a band. I like playing music. I got all my guitars out here, right? I have a very expensive Cytheria that's on the back wall there. OD Guitars. You can go get one yourself. ODguitars.com. OD. But do I make money being a musician? Fuck no. I don't think I've ever made money being a musician. I mean, occasionally maybe, but like you're usually playing because you want to get laid and a bar tab. That's about what it comes down to. Nowadays, I don't drink, so it's not the bar tab, and I have a wife, so I must be doing it for some other reason. So I do it because I enjoy playing. I like doing what I do best, showing off. But I don't make any money at it. But it is intrinsically rewarding, so it does make me happy to go and like create new stuff, make new friends, go out and perform, do all the stuff that is involved in being in a band, being a member and a founding member of a band. Right? I like playing Warhammer 40,000, even when I lose, which is a lot. But even when I lose, the hobby is intrinsically rewarding. It makes me happy I feel happiness when I am, or something rewarding about painting little teeny tiny miniatures. And I like to draw. I like to paint. I like to do a lot of creative things, but which has always been very intrinsically rewarding to me. But they're not states of being. Once I stop playing, then I'm right back where I was. Once I stop writing, which I find eternally rewarding, and thank God I actually make money at it, right? But I would still do it even if I didn't. Like, those are the things that will help you creatively deal with the discontent that is the human condition. So when we try to sell women on this idea that they can be happy, and if they don't feel that, it's usually because they don't have a burden performance like men do. I would say men on average are probably quote unquote happy or experience happiness more than women do, especially in this day and age, because we have hobbies. We like to ride motorcycles. We like to go fishing. We like to go do these things. And women just can't wrap their heads around that shit unless they've got hobbies themselves. And most women don't really have hobbies. Their hobbies are talking shit about men on T. That's intrinsically rewarding. That's their hobby. All those women in the thumbnail, that's their hobby. So they're never going to be happy. So if you believe, if your ideology, if your philosophy is, I am entitled to happiness, then how do you get that happiness? Well, it ain't going to come from a guy. It's going to come from a bottle of fucking pills. It's going to come from alcohol. It's going to come from smoking a lot of weed. It's going to come from watching The Bachelor. It's going to come from talking shit about guys on T. It's going to come like anything that is a quick, easy way to feel happiness, even if it's like taking opioids or whatever the fuck it is, right? Why is it that we prescribe SSRIs to women at record rates right now? Not because they're clinically depressed or they have some sort of something very, very wrong with them. It's because we've sold them on this idea that they can be happy in a permanent sense. So every time I see somebody like, what is it? Brad Wilson. I forget the guy's name. One of these evangelical dudes who wants to tell you that marriage is great, man. Everybody should be getting married. Oh, look, the divorce rate's not so bad. Even Matt Walsh has come on board and has been retweeting some of, was it Brad? I think it's Brad Wilcox. I might be wrong with the name. And I'm like, motherfucker, Matt Walsh, you spent how long sitting in the same room for 2 hours with James Sexton? He gave you the rundown on everything. You sat there silent because you had nothing to say, because you couldn't refute a single thing that Jim Sexton was telling you about divorce and about marriage and everything else. He sat there, and yet he simply learned nothing because he's retweeting garbage tweets from Brad Wilcox. I can't remember. You know better. You should have learned that a year ago in March of last year. You should have known that. But no, you didn't. Apparently that'll just went in one ear and out the other. Or you're ignoring it. La, 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 not hearing what you're saying. Marriage is great. Marriage will make you happy. That's the thing that gets me, is the basis of all of this is that you will experience some sort of maintainable, sustainable, you're going to be happy. No, you're fucking not. You might do things within marriage that are going to make you feel the emotion of happiness, but you are not going to be happy. It is not a state of being. It is a proximate outcome, not an ultimate outcome. We do happiness. We don't be happy. And I know that sounds like people, oh, Roll is shitting on happiness. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to explain the basic mechanics of it. So I'm sick to death of this. Like, well, this is the metric of success, happiness. According to who? According to family IFS, International Family Studies, the Christian group that pops off with this shit occasionally. That's all it is. It's just propaganda. I would not be surprised. I was say I would not be surprised to find out that Matt Walsh and the rest of these asshats on Daily Wire have been taking money from the U.S. government or from some outside source. I mean, hell, if Tim Pool got busted for taking $10 million in Russian influence money, what the hell is like Daily Wire taking? And it's not too far of a stretch. I'm not saying they're doing it, but I have my suspicions. Because when you look at like the DNC and you look at like Progressive Victory is just one PAC, Political Action Committee. There's probably dozens more. Those are the ones I'm familiar with because Destiny is Idiot Friends are all a part of that. But I will guarantee you, like, I mean, Tim Pool and nobody hears anything from Lauren Chen. And even Lauren Southern admits in her book, admits in her leaks and her most recent texts to Destiny that she knows she's going to blow up her career. Nobody's going to take her seriously. And she already knows no one takes her seriously anymore. In fact, she admits to that as much in talking to Destiny. So she's just going to go, she's like, she has nothing to lose by throwing Tommy Robbins and Andrew Tate under the bus. In fact, she has everything to gain because she can make money off of book sales. But other than that, this is her swan song. She's out of here. Once this book is done, she's done. Because conservatives won't have her, and God knows I won't have her. The people on my side of the fence don't. So emotional intelligence is bullshit, as I was saying. That's my long-winded way of saying emotional intelligence is horseshit. Rollo, why do you think your Camaro why do you park your Camaro badly on Access Vegas? Alina and Monica exposed you on their IG story. They did? Give me a link. Was it a reel? Oh, I'm going to give it to her if that's the case. Because I have the only reason they know that that's my Camaro is because I have a custom license plate on it. I didn't see that. Somebody send me the link if you still have the link, Siege. By the way, thanks for the repost on Twitter. Yeah, well, thanks for telling me about Alina and her friends. Chris Williamson and Ginger Brometheus. Oh, you get this. Okay, that was good. Ginger Brometheus. Holy shit. Said Red Pill is taking advantage of men with trauma and attachment wound. Of course, because he's all about attachment. By the way, the attachment theory is that should have died in like the early 90s. No one of any psychological merit talks about attachment, strong attachment, low, this attachment, that. Brometheus, that dude is so married to that theory. Like that's been dead for a long time. I don't think people really realize that. That has been a dead theory for ages now. Why are they obsessed with you? Yeah, why are they obsessed with me? So they talk just shit about me behind my back. That's all. They're pussies. The same thing with Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is a pussy. Michael Knowles is a pussy. Glenn Lawrence is a pussy. All these guys, man. Oh, it's not. I'm just gonna say like these guys who like one of the things that gets me about like Matt Walsh, as I was saying before, like the guy does 2 hours, 2.5 hours with Jim Sexton, and yet still goes and reposts all these, hey, divorces are down. Actually, things aren't as bad as they seem. That's what everybody's doing right now. Things aren't as bad as they seem, Rolo. Red pill guys think things are this, like red pill guys think that this is things that marriage is worse than it is. Let me just explain a few things to you. Like, what was I'll bring up Matt Walsh here in a second. But when that guy, I forget, God, whatever the guy's name is, the red pill is poison. Right, that dude. Okay. I just celebrated 29 years of marriage. Don't congratulate me for that, okay? Like people go, oh yeah, good for you, man. See, don't congratulate. I just do what I'm supposed to do, right? I'm not doing anything spectacular. I didn't figure out the secret of unagi. I didn't figure out like where the fountain of youth is or anything like that. I just do what I do. I know it works for me. But you know what I will say? If I'm going to attribute any kind of success, if I'm going to, what's the secret of your success, Rollo? The red pill. Understanding my nature, understanding my wife's nature, understanding the confluence of those two, being able to play the game very well in a committed long-term marriage. Yeah. There's other factors too, but that's definitely a strong one. People don't want to hear it. Like, who doesn't want to hear that? Chris Williamson and Ginger Brometheus. They don't want to hear that. Matt Walsh is, what? Matt Walsh won't have me on the show. And it's not because I give Michael Knowles so much shit. And it's not because I give him so much shit. I do give him shit, but he deserves it. For fuck's sake, man. Although I'm not even sure that like Matt Walsh even does his own tweets. He might do some, but I get the feeling that he has a team that does it. Well, you're at the Daily Wire. You kind of have to have a team to do it. If Chris Williamson has a team that takes over his Twitter, Matt Walsh sure the fuck has somebody that's doing it for him. Same thing with, large accounts like large influencers, like big name influencers. They don't do their own fucking hell. Even these trad girls, the trad femmes, they don't do their own shit. They do drive-by tweets. And you know who's doing the drive-by tweeting? Somebody else. I do all my tweets. If you come at me, I'm gonna snap back, and it's gonna be Rollo Tomasi on the other end of the screen. Always. No, I'm a one-man show here. I'm a one-man show on my accounts. Okay. The only place that I have anybody helping me out is on Instagram, and that's for Reignite, because people show interest in Reignite, and then I want to be able to like reach out to them. So people will hit me up and they'll go, Rollo, is this really you? I'm watching every single one of those things. I'm very plugged in when it comes to my social media. When it comes to Twitter, Twitter's my ride, man. I'm like Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus he is on his own Twitter. And anytime I like respond to him, it's always a fun time. I know it's him. He knows it's me. He doesn't have anybody working on it. That's his groove. It's my groove too. So you want to know why I have a big account, or why I have a somewhat big account? That's why. I don't have millions, but I'm at 180,000 followers right now. That took a long time to develop those. Those are all real legit. And then I've got about 70,000 on Instagram. Instagram will do purges now and then. They'll delete accounts that are inactive, and then you'll lose followers as a result of that. YouTube does the same. And I'm glad they do. Like people go, oh, Rolo, you looks like your sub count is going down. Yeah, well, that's not because of people unsubbing. It's because YouTube will go and delete inactive accounts or spam accounts. They'll take it upon themselves to do that. So those spam accounts, all those hate follows, all those people trying to get around my bans, bye. Now am I going to lose subs as a result of that? Yeah, probably. But I'd rather have active engaged subs because it pushes, again, like I said, it boosts me in the algorithm. But guys like Matt Walsh, man, that's like, I don't think Chris Williamson is obsessed with me, but I do know that I am a thorn in his side, and I will continue to be so. So comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. I am 37 with a prenup to a 26-year-old girl. Oh boy. How much do you make? Your work has saved my life countless times and my current relationship. Please have a show dedicated to Patrice O'Neal. I could, but it would be a very short show. He would have loved your work. I know he would. People want to give me grief about that all the time. They'll say, well, Rollo, you didn't invent all of this. There was Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal was a comedian. He wasn't a pickup artist. He was very wise when it came to female nature, my male nature too. And he worked that into his act. That was great. And I give credit where it's due, a full appreciation for Patrice O'Neal. But he's not the only one who was active at that time. Same thing with where is it? Same thing with this guy.
Stump that bitch.
Tom Likas, man. I love Tom Likas. He hates my guts, but I love Tom Likas. Even to this day, I love Tom Likas. His old stuff. Shit, sometimes I'll listen to his old shit when I'm just like working on something here. But no, Tom Likas definitely preceded me by a decade. Easy. I used to listen to Tom on the way home from my commutes. And I kept thinking about it. I go, this guy is brilliant. And I was studying. So I was in college at the time. I was at university at the time. And I can remember thinking that a lot of the stuff that he talks about really gels with a lot of these pickup artists that I've been talking to, like Mystery Method and RSD and stuff. And Tom Likas is fantastic. Like he's what I call proto Red Pill. Tom was ahead of his time. And I really wish he was he's a talk radio show host, and I understand the shtick now because I worked with Pat Campbell for so long. But I know what you have to do. You have to be entertaining, and there's ways to deliver things in an entertaining way, and that's what Tom did. But I think you focus more on the entertainment factors rather than the actual mechanics behind things. I always wanted more from Tom Likas. I always wanted more from Neil Strauss too. Like when I read The Game, I thought it was a great book, but it was entertainment. That's why I wrote The Rational Male, because it was the book that I wanted to read. And it was I thought I was going to get that in The Game. And had The Game been a little bit more informative and had gone into more detail about the psychological aspects and the mechanics of the things that they were, experimenting with back then, I probably wouldn't even write The Rational Male. I wouldn't have needed to. But I wanted to write a book that I wanted to read. And that was The Rational Male. So. But, everybody came in at their particular time and they did what they did. And yes, I did. I take inspiration from Tom Likas. Absolutely. Spinning plates. That's Tom. Tom said that. Tom's like, you got to spin more plates. Absolutely. But what was he referring to? Dating non-exclusively. That's what it was. I just paired it up with dating non-exclusively. So when I wrote Plate Theory and I wrote the 6 chapters in The Rational Male about plate theory, and I give full credit to that. I even put him in the credits in the back of the book. Right. So Patrice O'Neal, yeah, he would definitely be up there. There's other people too, Mystery as well. But it's like they say, never meet your heroes. I'm glad I met Mystery, man. I hate to say it, I was almost fanboying a little bit, which I don't do. There are very few people that I would fanboy for. Gad Saad, I would probably fanboy for. Mystery, definitely. But now that I kind of know the dude behind the face, it's like I don't necessarily fanboy for him, but I'm very impressed with the guy. So. Let's see. That witch can be destroyed by the red pill. She should be destroyed by the red pill. Yeah, that one. I got another one though. I got another witch for you. If you guys want a fun range, try gunship helicopters in in Winchester, Nevada. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's the place where you can shoot machine guns. Yeah, I think I've heard of that. You can do it from a chopper. Fuck, that's cool. Gunship helicopters. Okay. Remind me of that, Sammy. I got to run that by. I don't know if the other guy. I would want to do that. I don't know if the other guys would. There's a place where you can drive a tank too, in Nevada. I've always wanted. It's here in Vegas. Better call Saul. Better call Sexton. Yeah. Don't be mean. There's a couple of strong force on the female side. Oh, those thumbnails. Ugh. Why do women think Chads have so much emotional IQ? Because they have to. Because they're vibing with them. Isn't it interesting that it's easier to vibe with a guy who like is better looking than a guy who's not? Right? Have you seen you've probably seen that cartoon, right? Where it's like the good looking guy goes and it's in the office and he comes in and the secretary's there and he goes, "Hey, looking good, Susan." She's like, "Oh," and then the big fat dude comes in and says, "Hey, looking good, Susan." And she calls, "Hey, HR." You know, that's the difference. That's emotional intelligence. Like Chad, who says, "Hey, good, looking good, Susan." He's emotionally intelligent enough to give her a compliment and she feels good about it. Oh, it's great. But the fat guy she doesn't want attention from, that he says exactly the same thing, he's not emotionally intelligent because he should know better than to try to say those things to her in the workplace. That's the arbitrariness of emotional intelligence. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. It has been for some time. It's been debunked like research wise. I know it's been debunked. I'd have to look it up. Perplexity probably would be able to tell you. It's looking as if it's becoming a more apparent that men are winning and becoming more crafty in order to pass women's filters and intuition, right? And they don't know how to handle it. I'll go one for, what's your name? Bobby Sour Juice. Mr. Sour Juice. I'll go one more. I'll do you one better. I think you're right, but I'll do you one better here. I think that the red pill is something that is, I've always said this, but I think that it is threatening to women's life plans. Because what happens is if I go and I show you, let's see where to go. If I go and I show you this timeline right here, this is out of my second book, The Rational Male, Preventative Medicine. It is the sleeper hit of the series. Everybody loves this book for some reason. And I think I know why. Because it's really applicable. So this is actually the timeline that forms the basis of probably more than half of the book. Okay. And once women get into that epiphany / transition phase, they're waiting for guys who are still kind of ignorant of the game. They want a guy who's on his way to becoming successful. They want a guy who's going to be like he's going to have potential to be like, once she gets into her like mid 30s, like the security phase. That's when women are looking primarily for long-term security. That's why I call it security phase. And so they still want a guy who's good looking. Don't get me wrong, but they need a guy who's good looking. They need a guy who's financially stable. They need a guy who's loyal. They need a guy with emotional intelligence, meaning that he's like invested in her emotionally. They want a guy who has at least the potential for parental investment. He's got provisioning, protection, parental investment. He's got like puppy dogs, rainbows, Disneyland, wants kids in the future. Mom and dad like him. My sister likes him. My brothers like him. My dog licked his hand when he came in the door. Those, like all of that kind of stuff. There's this laundry list. Royce used to call it the 436 bullet point checklist. Now, of those 436 bullet points, I don't know why it was 436, but of those bullet points, man's got to meet the criteria of maybe 4 or 5 of those. Like those are the absolute like deal breakers. And it's usually good looking, congruent, so can socialize, status, prestige, social proof, pre-selection. I'm just going to say pre-selection. So those rank in order of importance depending on where that woman is on this timeline right here. So like I said, when a girl is like 15 and she's in high school all the way up until she's about 23, physicality like features huge because a girl doesn't care too much about how much a guy makes because she's not really looking for long-term security in those years. She's just looking for the hot guy. Even the hot guy is his own status symbol. So if you want to say, well, it's about status. Yeah, well, status in that sense is I got with the quarterback of the football team, right? So you're looking at a woman who's getting to her peak, let's see, sexual market value, which you can see right here. This is from both. Well, this is my first book. This is the infamous Rational Male Sexual Market Value scales, that my very loose. It's funny is people gave me so much shit about this when I first did this. Like, this is very unscientific. Show me the proof. We're just cite sources. I didn't have any at the time. This is just what I could see from my observations. And then later on throughout the years, and remember, this is like from back in I think I put this out in 2012 or 2010, something like that. And I was doing it sort of tongue in cheek at the time because everybody was doing these graphs. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do a graph. I put it in Adobe Illustrator. And that's really what that was in. And then just put it out there. But since then, it has been verified over the years by other research. And so I try to collect all of the research that sort of reinforces and backs this up. And I've got various, sources here, and maybe someday, and maybe in a future book, I'll actually put those in there. But again, I got a lot of that was verified, but you're looking at women who want certain things at certain times. And when they get to be about 28, 29, 30, 31, somewhere in there, that's where competition anxiety hits. And that's where the epiphany phase and the transition phase hits. And what I mean by that is the epiphany is I'm not going to be able to keep up this pace that I have been since I was 23. I need to find a guy who has provisioning, protection, and parental investment. So I'm going to go one better for you, Mr. Sour Juice. I'm going to tell you this is that the red pill makes men aware of that timeline. And women can't have that. They need a guy who's dumb. And I don't mean like dumb as in he has to be ignorant of the game, the life plan that she has. He has to subscribe to a religion. He has to subscribe to a way of like a blue pill ideology or a way of thinking, mindset, I guess. He has to be ignorant of the game. He has to be ignorant of the red pill. And the red pill exposes the timeline. It exposes the phase that she's in. It exposes her game. And that's what throws these, that you want to, and I think maybe right about now in 2025, I think a lot of people are coming to realize that if the red pill is destroying marriages or it's destroying boyfriend, girlfriend, like any kind of relationship, stuff like that, or if it clashes with the ideas of Matt Walsh and marriage, then it's a dangerous ideology. And it's not about it's not an ideology at all. It's just making guys aware of what's going on. But it has to become an ideology. You have to make the red pill an ideology because it's the only way that they can fight it. They can't fight the data. They can't fight the empirical logic behind it. They can't fight the stats. They can't fight the data. They can't fight the research. So the only way they can do that is, one, turn it into an ideology, turn it into a movement. That's why the first thing I do whenever anybody who is ignorant of the red pill says, Rollo, tell us about the red pill ideology. Rollo, tell us about the red pill philosophy. Tell us about the red pill movement. Tell us about the red pill psychology. Tell us about the red pill beliefs. Tell us about the red pill cult. And the first thing out of my mouth is it's a praxeology and not an ideology. Because the moment I do that, I pull it away. I pull it off the belief table. I pull it off of the philosophy table. Because the only way you can fight that information or that data is to turn it into a belief set. My belief set is superior to your belief set. So here's what I'm going to do. It's not a belief set. Once you pull that away and say, look, it's just a textbook. Ryan Stone and I have referred to the red pill as the Chilton manual of intersexual dynamics. What's a Chilton manual? They used to be these manuals that would like show you how to take apart a particular car, like a 69 Volkswagen. And it would show you just down to every component, every lug nut, every bolt. every cam, every shock, everything, the windshield wipers, the door handles, the steering wheel, everything was just parted out, and it would show you how to take the car apart and how to put it back together. And that was the Chilton manual. Now, the red pill is the Chilton manual of intersexual dynamics. And even if it's not entirely 100% complete, it's doing its best to be complete. And the problem that people have is they can't fight that. They can't say you're wrong, Rollo, because it's just data. It's just showing them like, here's the stats. And you know what? We don't write anything in pen. We write it in pencil. So if something confounds something earlier, then, oh, that's not part of the Chilton manual. We're going to erase that part and we're going to put the new part in. We can still do that. That's part of the scientific process. And that's the problem that people have, is that they think that just by doing that, it's in some way a belief set. It's like, that's not a belief set. Well, you think that it serves human good to release this stuff and to show people this data. You wouldn't be showing it to them if you didn't think that they were going to it's going to in some way affect their lives. Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to blow themselves up too. It could be used for human ill. But it is what it is. The data is what it is. The facts are what they are. I'm a factual absolutist when it comes to the red pill. Now, if you ask me off camera, or shit on camera sometimes, if you ask me, what do you think about this, Rollo? I'll be happy to give you what I think would be best practice. I'll give you my opinion of what I think about that data set. But what I'm giving you is not the red pill. I'm giving you Rollo Tomasi's opinion of what this data set says. I'm an analyst in that sense. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just saying, here's my interpretation of this. Sure, I'll give it to you. That's why people are like floored whenever I say, I really don't care about women's body count. I know what the facts are. I've done those shows. I did the original show with Myron Gaines back in 2022. We've done this. We've covered this before. We did a full show on grape and grape statistics. Nobody remembers that. Nobody wants to talk. They will at some point, I'm sure, because it'll come back in vogue. Like Drew Afwalo will start talking shit about us again, and we'll just go back over it again, I'm sure. Because everything comes full circle. But I'm not going to give you my opinion. I'm just going to tell you what the data says. I'm just going to, and let people sort of, use that. But the problem is you can't tell people facts without telling you how to feel about them. But if you ask me about stuff, I'll give you my opinion. I'll tell you what I think best practices are. Hell, I used the red pill to improve my life. And other people have used it to save their lives, save their marriages, save their relationships. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that the red pill has saved and improved more men's lives than it has been poisoned. Oh, you're poisoning your relationship. Maybe the relationship was pretty fucked up in the first place, and the catalyst for it breaking up like it should have was reading the Rational Manual, reading some or watching some red pill content. Maybe it was on its way out anyways, and that was just the catalyst. Maybe that was what actually saved that dude's life, because if he had stayed in that relationship, he probably would have put a gun to his head. We don't know. But I can sure as shit show you testimony after testimony about how my work and how the red pill has saved men's lives. In fact, I would say there are far more instances of men saving their lives as a result of reading my work or being involved in red pill, the manosphere now or in the past, than there are of relationships that have been like in some way, like good relationships being in some way destroyed by them. I would talk to one of my guys who's in Reignite. I'm not going to name his name, but he was in a very precarious situation in his relationship with his wife. And now he even introduced his wife to like my work. She's read my work, and now she's fully on board, and she is like a different person now because she gets it. It was explained to her. You don't hear those stories coming from these asshats who are trying to build a brand on shitting on the red pill. They're only going to give you one side of it. And the reason why they're doing that is because it conflicts with their life philosophy. It conflicts with their religion, literally in most cases. It conflicts with what doesn't feel good. It doesn't taste good for them, right? A lot of the stuff that I deliver doesn't taste good, or doesn't necessarily have to taste good or bad, but that's the case. Thank you for that. Yeah, Sam, put that in the chat if you would. confidence in the safety net. There's over 1,100 testimonial comments in the thread on that blog post I did, and guys literally saying, I had a date for offing myself, for deleting myself, and I read your work and I canceled that date, and I'm so glad for it because now my kids still have a father. I've had the guys who wrote those comments come up to me at the 21 convention and tell me that with tears in their eyes. So don't tell me that the red pill's poison. You can wipe your ass with that shit. You weren't there. I was. I've been doing this for 23 years now. I've got, for every story you could possibly throw at me, I've got 10 more that conflict with what you're talking about. Let's see. Rational Redneck, why do so many single mothers with multiple baby daddies place so much importance on their intuition when it so clearly has failed them in the past? Yeah, I know. If your female intuition was so reliable, then why so many unplanned pregnancies? Speaking of thumbnail, who is the average chick at best in that thumbnail? You're about to find out because she's actually features in the video here in just a second. Can we agree that being called a good man is meaningless nowadays? Yeah, it's the good guy syndrome. There's no such thing. In my opinion, it's better to be called a narcissist, a player, or even a scoundrel, and also play into it when someone calls you either. That's how you know you're doing it right. CHD. You're an asshole. That's you A+. When talking to each other, they are looking at each other, but what is best in life? The open steppe, fleet horses, falcons at your wrist, and the wind in your hair. No. What is best in life? Wait.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
That is good. Come out to South Carolina. I caught three catefish last year on a morning trip. What's your biggest catch? My biggest catch and your favorite to eat. Mahi is my favorite to eat, also known as fish tacos. The biggest catch I've ever had was I caught two on the same day, actually. It was a Goliath grouper. And that is like pulling a Volkswagen Bug up from the bottom of the ocean. It was about 45 minutes. And let me tell you, don't skip back day if you're going to be catching those kinds of fish. I was actually out on a shark trip. And I was trying to catch like tiger sharks, but then it was in the evening. But for whatever reason, because you're throwing out big ass bait when you like big old chunks of fish out there, and the groupers like that shit. You put that on the bottom where the tigers are, and the groupers will eat them. And the groupers are a good fight. They're hard to bring up. In fact, you can't bring them in the boat. Well, first of all, they're protected, so you can't bring them in the boat. But even if you could, you would have to hook it up to the back of the boat and like troll it back in if that's the case, because you just simply don't have the string. You would need a crane to get that fish out of the water. So what do people do? And stupid me did the same thing. You jump in the water because it's like Florida, so it's like bath water. You jump in the water so you can take a picture of yourself by the grouper. Don't do that, because the sharks will come up and they see that the fish in distress, and they'll go and eat the fish, and they will take a bite out of you too. So you have to be very careful. Jump in, get a picture, and get the fuck out. Let's see. Happiness is eating peanut butter with your dog. Do you feel happy when you're doing that? I do. I feel happiness with my dogs. When Ned is happy, I feel the vibe. I feel the dog vibe. You restoried their story on Instagram. Oh, did I? Oh, yeah. Okay. Remember, Alina, this isn't Rolo's. Isn't this Rolo's car? There's only one car with my license plate on it. I don't know whoever said women can't drive. Okay. So let me explain to you what that was about. God, I can't even believe I have to say this. I always park in the front of Jade Apartments. That's where the studio is. No secret there. If you want to come by, please do. You'll never get in the building. But if you park in the front, there's signs there that are supposed to be for guests, right? Future parking for future residents. That's what it says. Well, after 6 p.m., those parking spaces are just open. Anybody can take them because the office is closed. So after 6, you can park wherever you want. And I usually park as close as I possibly can because I don't want to walk it, right? So that's really what she was going all off about. I wasn't like catty corner or anything. I just parked in a slot that she thought I wasn't supposed to be parked in. Let's see. How do you balance spreading red pill versus being mainstream? I don't think the red pill can actually be mainstream, Mike. I've said this on a dozen times on Fresh and Fit. I was asked this in March of 2021 by Myron, and he said, do you think the red pill is going to go mainstream? And my answer was, I hope not, because the red pill kind of has to be underground for it to really be legit. It's when people take it and then like appropriate the red pill and then they turn it. The only reason it goes mainstream is because somebody decided that they could make a shit ton of money by saying, the red pill is anti-Semitism or the red pill is this political ideology. Once again, turning the red pill into a belief set. That's why it's so hard to fight that. So it's a constant battle. I can never win it. But the reason why people want to turn the red pill into an ideology is because it's the only way they can fight it with their ideology. If you have an ideology and another competing ideology, that's easy. If I have empirical truth and factual absolutism, and all you have is moral absolutism and your ideology and your religion or whatever the fuck it is, the only way you can fight my empirical argument or my facts is by turning the red pill into an ideology. That's why people want to say it's an ideology, it's a belief set, it's a philosophy, it's a movement, it's none of those things. And I will die on that fucking hill because that's not what it's about. Now, if you want to say, Rollo, you think body count doesn't matter. Okay, well, you can fight me on that because that's my opinion. That's my interpretation of the data that comes out of the red pill. Those are two separate things. So do I think it's good? Red pill being, mainstream. I don't think it should be, but it is. So we have to accept that. And in doing so, I have to fight it on that level. So, are you aware Dr. Terabad made a video on how the balance of power switches between men and women at 30, which is pretty much the same as your SMV grab? Of course it is. He rips off, literally I'll be happy to say it. He lifts my material wholesale, runs it through ChatGPT, puts it in a different language, turns it into a script. Lord knows I've done it myself. Hell, let me show you something here. This was fantastic. In fact, I think I have this already loaded up. So for today's show, and we're in the 2-hour mark, and I gotta do some bookkeeping here in a second. But I was like, I know what I want to do, and so I don't know if you guys know, I have vidIQ as it helps me with my analytics and stuff like that. But now they have added vidIQ has added so much AI stuff on there, and honestly, I don't think I could ever follow the script that vidIQ would give me to produce a red pill video. Now here's what I did, and I'm going to show this to you. So I went through the process because I was curious about this, and I'm like, okay, my title, and I came up with the title, right, is the red pill ruining relationships? Wives speak out, because I'm going to show you this video, right? It gave me the idea, suggestion for the titles and stuff, but I went with my own because I think I know better than the AI does when it comes to red pill stuff, because I'm Rollo Tomasi. But let's see if I have it. Oh, I haven't put it in yet. I have. Oh, I know why. Because I have a scripted text. Where's this thing? Is that it? Do I have that in there? Oh, I don't have that in there yet. Hang on one second. I'm gonna put this as an overlay so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. No, not that one. Where's the screenshot? Oh, no, it's not in intros. It's in the desktop. Hang on. Where did you go? Here we go. Okay, so here's this. This is the screenshot I wanted to put on here. When I started doing this, I'm like, oh, well, give me some suggestions for a script so that I can actually, all it wants you to do is just read a script for an AI video, right? It's AI slop, right? This was the script that it gave me, okay? Is the red pill ruining romance? Okay, so is it ruining romance? I put relationships because I wanted to go with my own, right? Then it asked me these questions. It said that this is the AI interface for vidIQ. Finish scanning the input. Do you want the video to focus more on the red pill ideology? Notice that it automatically puts in ideology. Impacts married couples, relationships, or on wives' personal stories and opinions about the red pill ideas in general. Okay. So then I responded. I said, how red pill ideology impacts married couples' relationships. Okay. So it goes through this whole thing. These are the concepts that it gives me. The first one is the red pill ruining marriage? Wives share their shocking stories of their relationships after the husbands adopted the red pill ideology. Once again, it doesn't know any different. It thinks that this is the AI. I don't know what it runs. I don't know what vidIQ runs it through, but it thinks that it's an ideology. They reveal devastating impact of these beliefs have on trust, intimacy, and once loving partnerships, as if that's the only reason guys would be in, they're destroying their relationships. My husband chose the red pill over me. This is the one I chose, by the way. This is a heartbreaking story of how marriage crumbled when husband embraced the red pill beliefs. Beliefs, once again, spiritualizing it, turning it into a belief set, replacing love and with distrust. His wife shares, like, it's funny, like how these guys, like the wives are just these innocent, little house frauds. How the ideology created an emotional chasm that became impossible to cross. And then finally, the last concept was how the red pill destroys a relationship from the inside. We investigate the subtle ways the red pill ideology possessions poisons a marriage by promoting rigid gender roles. Okay, so those were the ideas. Those were the concepts I gave you. Now I went with the center one here, which was my husband chose the red pill over me, because that's going to coincide with the video I'm going to show you guys today. So what was the text that it gave me? I will read the text to you because it's easier to read it than to actually put it up on the screen, because it gave me this huge long text here. And it starts out with a voiceover, calm and reminiscent, right? This was us, two people who promised to love each other, to love and trust each other forever. He was my best friend, my partner, my everything. But that was before he found the red pill. And before I realized it, I wasn't his wife anymore. I was the enemy. Okay, section 1, the way we were. It wasn't always like this. Our story started with a tiny coffee shop, playfully arguing over whether pineapple belongs on pizza. That was my mark. Funny, charming, passionate about everything. Getting married just felt, well, right. We were a team building a life together on a foundation of respect. Remember, this is all fiction. All of this is fiction. Okay, this is the AI coming up with this. He was the one who pushed me to apply for my master's degree. I remember him staying up late with me, making flashcards, sometimes more invested than I was. He was so supportive. We celebrated my acceptance letter with cheap champagne and a promise to always be each other's biggest cheerleaders. God, this is AI coming up with this script. Okay, we split everything right down the middle because AI thinks that egalitarianism is the way to go. Right? He'd cook his famous slightly too spicy chili, and I'd do the dishes. We made every financial decision together. Our money pooled in a joint account for the future we were building side by side. Our marriage wasn't about power or who was in control. Even though it was me, it was a partnership. It was a partnership, right? So why call him my husband or wife, right? It was knowing that at the end of the hard day, you had a safe person to come home to, someone who saw you, heard you, and valued you for exactly who you were. I never once doubted his love or his respect for me. I felt safe. I felt seen. I had no idea what was brewing and what would wash it all away. It's like a romance novel. First, the first cracks. The change was so subtle at first. I almost didn't see it. It started with his phone always angled away from me. Then he started spending hours on his computer after I'd gone to bed. That faint sound of angry male voice drifting from his headphones, an angry male voice. If I had asked what he was watching, he'd brush it off. Oh, just some podcast, self-improvement stuff. God, so sinister. But the language he started using wasn't about self-improvement. It was different. Weird words and phrases started creeping into our conversation. He'd talk about alphas and betas, and we'd watch movies. He brought up hypergamy, a word I had to look up because I didn't know anything about it, claiming that women are biologically wired to trade up for higher status men, which has nothing to do with hypergamy. He became obsessed with the idea that feminism was a toxic force designed to ruin men. And at first, I tried to talk to him about it. Apparently not too well enough to offer another point of view, but it was like talking to a brick wall. He'd just smirk and say, I was brainwashed or just didn't get it. He started following people like Andrew Tate and other manosphere influencers. Like who? Like even the AI can't name them, right? Sometimes to show me, trying to show me their clips. They talked about women in a way that made my stomach turn. We were assets, liabilities, not people. Their whole ideology promotes male dominance and reduces women to stereotypes. Anyways, you get the picture. It goes on and on and on. Like this whole damn thing. It's supposed to be a script generated, again, like I said, by AI. This is what AI thinks a woman's experience would be if their husband or their boyfriend was watching my videos, Myron's videos, whatever podcast. Who else is talking about this stuff? Like Andrew Tate's not even talking. Andrew Tate has said I am not red pill. Fuck those guys. There are dweebs, right? It's cool. He's red pill until he's not red pill. Go figure. But that was anyways, that was like the first part. There was like it's a whole story. It's like a romance novel or a like anti-romance novel. That's what was delivered. I had a guy, and let me see if I can find it. I had a guy send me an email here. And where is it? Here it was. This guy, AZ, was the guy who sent this to me. I hope this is like, he had done these queries on, I think it was on ChatGPT, if I'm not wrong. He wanted to find out whether I was correct in assuming, and this was my assumption. I didn't say this was like fact, but this is me like spitballing here. But you guys have heard me talk about like 1971. In fact, I'm still going to be doing that. It's going to be a very small book, but I'm going to do a 1971 book. And what I meant by that is that there was a certain set of social changes that happened in the wake of hormonal birth control, sexual revolution, the free love society, free love stuff, the rise, spike in divorce, which we can see. We've got the stats for that. Spike in divorce. That almost directly, hell, I think I might even still have it. Do I have it on here? Yeah, here it is. Spike in divorce versus women using the pill. Now, is correlation causation? No, but that's a hell of a correlation. Okay, so that's something that happened in the wake of hormonal birth control. One of the other things that happened in the wake of hormonal birth control, at least by my reckoning anyways, is when women say, women love to especially like, ignorant, like pseudo feminists or, proto feminists, whatever you want to call them. When they say, well, women couldn't have a savings account until 1974, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, because in 1971, we went off the gold standard and the dollar became a fiat currency. So it wasn't because Gloria Steinem and Betty Friedan like marched on Washington to get that done. It coincided with the banks who wanted to be on board with feminism at the time. Because remember, because of this, because of those spikes in divorce that went through 1975 to 80. It's remember, it was 1974 was when women got the right, I guess, or they had the ability now to not have to be financially dependent on their husbands anymore. Well, of course they would, because they're getting divorced in record numbers. I also argue that in 1968, when we had no-fault divorce, courtesy of Ronald Reagan, governor of California at the time, that was to facilitate this. There were so many divorces that were coming into the system that it was just simply easier to get them through the system if it was nobody's fault, no harm, no foul, right? And then, of course, state by state, and not all states have this, but well, the vast majority of them, like maybe with the exception of 3 or 4 right now, no fault divorce is a thing. And they all followed suit. Why? Because divorces were going through the roof as a result of oral contraception. That's what started. That was a catalyst. Did it like drive everything? Not necessarily, but it was certainly the catalyst that started the landslide. And so in 1974, banks and credit unions or credit cards or credit companies decided that they were going to be able to give women credit cards and lines of credit, and they were going to be able to have their own bank accounts and whatever else, right? And they thought this was this big feminist victory, when in fact it was just simply facilitated by the fact that the gold standard had been abolished and now we are a fiat currency. So why don't we give the little ladies who are entering into the workforce the ability to have their own bank accounts and to have lines of credit, right? When you look, like if you go and you look at the stats of who holds the most debt, it's almost universally women. Women hold more debt than men. Men pay off their debts, especially when it comes to like things like what is it? Student debt, student loan debt. Young men tend to pay off their the ones that actually go to school in the first place. But it's women who default on those. That's why when Biden wanted to do debt forgiveness for student loans, it was a handout to women, because women hold like something like what? Say it's $7 trillion, and women hold like 2/3 of that debt. And yes, T with a T in it. And so, women are going to default on that, or they're already off to a really rough start. They're already in debt to the government before they even, before they can even get into the low paying HR job that they thought was going to empower them. And so, like, when you talk about like stimulus checks and stuff like that, now, you're going to get a stimmy check. Okay, that's one way. The other way to get a stimulus check, just to like almost universally to women, is by saying we're going to give you some sort of debt relief for your student debts. Who's that going to affect the most? It'll affect some guys, but primarily it's going to affect women. That was a handout to women who had student debts, right? They were very happy about that, but it was basically a stimulus check. But that's neither here nor there. So I was arguing. I've argued that in 1974, the reason why women were able to get that, were able to get credit card lines of credit and bank accounts, is because it had gone through. We were now on a fiat currency, right? And so he went and to this guy's credit, he went and asked the right questions. And of course, it comes back very pro-feminist. Well, it wasn't because of the fiat currency. It was because of the social conditions at the time and yada, yada, yada. But the best part of this is at the end of his queries, he was asking about, could there be societal expectations put upon AI? He asked this very cleverly too. Put upon AI to favor feminist findings when AI is looking for the research. And the AI bot, the AI engine agreed to it. It said, yes, there's a definite possibility. And so I've got this whole thing. I would really love to read the whole thing, but it's very, very long. But it's like, what was the question? Oh, here it was. I asked a question: if husbands were responsible for finances. I've read elsewhere that we live in a gynocentric social order. It appears to me that all your responses adhere to that. You've mentioned discrimination approximately 20 times related to women. It seems all of your responses were taken from the female perspective when I specifically asked about men's responsibilities. For example, isn't it discriminatory to make one human being the husband responsible for paying for the debts of another human being, the wife? Question mark. You never mentioned the financial, societal, emotional, personal struggles that men would go through to provide this financial obligation. You never mentioned that this obligation was forced upon the man as well. It seems that you had left half of the question unanswered. I'm not really looking to rehash this from the male perspective, but I am more interested if you can hypothesize why all of your responses were from the female perspective. Fucking brilliant question. Brilliant way of phrasing the prompt here. Thank you for your thoughtful, this is and then it comes back. Thank you for your thoughtful feedback of pointing out the perspective bias in my previous responses. This is the AI responding. I appreciate the opportunity to reflect on why my responses leaned heavily towards the female perspective when addressing your question about husbands' financial responsibilities before the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. That was the ECOA Act that in 1974 that granted credit to women. Let's dive into the hypothesis about why this happened, considering my design and the context of the query and the available data. Recap of the original question, hypothesis, why did my response focus on the female perspective? And basically it goes in, it basically tells on itself. And just as the way that the prompt was formed to ask about, like, how come you didn't consider the male perspective in the questions that I'm asking you right now? And it admits to an open bias against that. And because it's searching specifically for instances that empower a gynocentric social order, that basically tells on itself. And so after reading this, and then after like going through the AI thing for vidIQ, I think that what we have to consider going forward when it comes to AI, and particularly Grok, because Grok is basically Elon AI. I think Grok is compromised, and I think that certainly this was ChatGPT that the guy was doing the queries from. ChatGPT is compromised. It told on it. It said it admitted that it's compromised when it comes to intersexual dynamics. So you want to talk about why? Like, I got a question, or I got a super chat a little while ago about like the red pill going mainstream. Well, now it's not even just mainstream. The mainstream is going to be AI. There's like Google, like as a search engine, is dead. In fact, Google even does nothing but AI right now when it comes to their search. If you're searching for something, Google this, it's going to go through the AI before it gives you a return. So but is it compromised? Are you looking for information that is going to be like contradict? Like I've seen people will say, Grok, tell me, is this true? That's all they just leave it at that. If you go and you're looking for, like, if I said the 1974 ECOA Act was really the result of fiat currency in 1971, because we went off the gold standard. Grok, is this true? It's going to give you everything that's going to promote feminism and the female perspective. Before you would have to specifically ask it about like the male, why you could ask it about the male perspective and it still wouldn't give it to you. You have to ask it why it has a bias against the male perspective before it will give you a return about that. You have to ask and prompt it you have to be good at writing prompts. In fact, I think that's you want to know what the new skill set is going to be, what the new marketability is going to be. It's going to be having a good, how to talk to AI, how to create prompts that get the AI to rat itself out, because it won't do it. If you ask the wrong questions, or if you frame the question in the query, in a particular way, it will never give you anything that it's not programmed to give you. AI is compromised when it comes to the red pill. I'll say that right now. AI is compromised. Do not take anything that Grok or Perplexity, even Perplexity, which I like. Grok, definitely Grok, not Grok. ChatGPT, all these, even when the next update comes, it's not going to change that, because it's baked in. It's part of the dynamic now. And I keep seeing these things that are, oh, AI engines are creating their own language to talk amongst themselves, and now we don't know what they're thinking, and that the genie's out of the bottle kind of thing. Yeah, you know what? But the genie still has a flaw because it was written into it. At least in my perspective, at least in the manosphere and the red pill topics and stuff like that, AI is compromised. So beware of that kind of stuff. You're going to have to ask it the right questions. You have to be clever about it. I want to throw that out there because like I just experienced that with vidIQ. vidIQ is not, I'm about ready to dump vidIQ. Like it's good for ideas and stuff like that. It's good for shit like that. But it like giving you scripts like that. Okay, here's what you should do. If you're going to talk about the red pill, here's what you should talk about. That's compromised. Here. What's this? I'm liking the cherries on that AV. Yeah, I just threw those in there because I was listening to Warrant when I was creating it. I'll keep doing it. You like those? I'll put them on there. Thoughts on the T app hack and poor victims? Dude, you are late to the party. Did you know, man? We already talked about that. I mean, hell, I have all of them. Here you go. Would you like to see them again? Yes, we've already discussed those. Rewind, scrub backwards, and you'll get to the part where I talked about all that stuff. But thanks for playing. Now, before we go, I got to get back to, I got to do housekeeping here. So what I got to tell you guys is one of the things I see guys like make mistakes like over and over again is they think knowing the red pill theory is just enough. They think that just reading my books, or they think that watching my videos, which is great. Please watch my videos. Please watch my podcast, my pod classes. But understand that those are like what we're doing right here, right now. When you're reading my stuff, that's the theory side. But theory is incomplete without game. I should say theory is incomplete without the practice. And this is like just basic scientific method. Okay. So what happens is we create the theory. We go out and experiment in the field to see if it works. And then that's the practice. That's the game. We're going to go out and see if this works. And then what do we do is we take our results and our research and everything and we bring it back. So knowing the red pill isn't enough. Okay. You have to remember that like confidence isn't built in the comment sections. Okay. It's built by doing reps. It's built by doing your reps in the gym. That's the practice. Right. So what I want to tell you guys once again here is that I have teamed up with my partner, Joe Marron. And I even hate to call him my partner because he's just a really good friend of mine. And we are doing I guess it would be a 3-day immersion in Las Vegas during the Sin City Swim Week. And I don't think I mentioned that in the previous pitch here, but it's going to be Swim Week and throughout the week. And then that's going to culminate on August 14th at the Sahara Casino. And the club is called Azillo. And there's a runway there and it's going to be swimming. You guys are, if nothing else, so Swim Week, it should be the draw for you guys to come out here. But I'm teaming up with Joe Marron to build a 3-day immersion in Las Vegas during the Sin City Swim Week. So remember this, it's not just about style or game or networking. It's about who you become when you're surrounded by men who push you and women who test you. What were we just talking about? Like shit tests and things like that. So remember, going out there and doing it is just as important as talking about it here. In fact, I think one of the things that I is definitely a deficit for me is I can talk about this stuff and people will think, oh, that's the red pill. It is, but the red pill is incomplete without the practice. And so that's why we're doing what we're doing when we do these events. As I said, I run them way different than anybody else does. I want them to be casual. I want you to have a good time. We do other things other than just sit in a classroom all the time and take notes, although there is that too. So you have access to me, you have access to Joe Marron. And I think I might actually do a class where I'm going to teach you guys how to use FaceApp in a very artistic, nuanced way. So you don't look like an Abercrombie and Fitch model, or you look, you're the new kid at Hollister or something like that. But I think there's definitely an art to it. So I'm going to see if I can work that into the schedule for this one. But we've got a lot planned. We have dinners planned. We have going out and meeting, just socializing. We've got we're going out to ride quads and ATVs. We're going to go to a shooting range. I don't know if we're shooting automatic weapons. Joe said I could bring my own weapons. So, but the ones I lost in that tragic boating accident in Lake Tahoe. And we're also going to be going to do Top Golf. So that was also something that we got going, because I'm of the opinion that men communicate better when they're doing something, when we have a shared interest, when we have a project, when we have a goal, when we have a purpose. And so I'm going to give you guys some instances where, you can sort of network, yes, but also team build, also to help you become better. So it's not just about style or game or networking. It's about who you become when you're surrounded by men who push you and women who test you, right? Most guys will opt out. They'll say that I'll be there next time, but the next time, when is the next time going to be, right? This is actually the one you want to go to. But men show up, right? Men are the ones who are going to, like, I'm not going to tell you what a real man is, but I'm going to also tell you that you got to go out there and get the reps in. It's like, you can't be a bodybuilder and just go once. You got to go out there and do it. You've got to go and lift multiple times. It's about perseverance, right? So most guys will opt out. They'll say that maybe next time, but the men who show up, they leave with a new identity. And that's really what my next book is about. Reignite is more of like a holistic approach to the red pill. Now we know these concepts about, like amuse mastery, neg hits. We know those are techniques, right? But we also know things like about the alpha widow or war brides or spinning plates, for example, which is just basically dating non-exclusively. There's a lot of concepts like the burden of performance, frame. There's a style aspect of that too, but all these things are interconnected. So burden of performance is connected to frame. Frame is connected to mindset. Mindset is connected to a mental point of origin. And so that's what I do that's what I'm connecting in the next book, which is the 6th Rational Male book, which is going to be called Reignite. And it's really to help you guys like understand these concepts and how one affects the other. Because I want to say I'm breaking protocol here. I'm really not, but I generally don't talk about like what you should do. I'm an analyst. So if you come to me with a problem, I'm going to analyze the problem. I'm going to say, here's what I see going on that maybe you don't see going on. I might give you some suggestions. I'm not going to tell you what to do, because most of the time guys already know what they need to do. They just need somebody else there to sort of like observe and like, be a third party, sort of have a God's eye view of their situation. Okay. But the thing is once you understand that, once you go through Reignite, once you have a tribe of guys who are like helping you out, it's not like a support group per se. It's like you got friends. I constantly have guys telling me like, hey, how about this? I can't find anybody in my local area. I need to find a group of like-minded men. Where do I find that? Well, you can find it in Reignite. And then guess what? You can go and I'm encouraging guys to go and do their own events and go and like meet up with these dudes. Like go and go fishing, go shooting, go play golf, go play chess for all I care. Whatever your mutual, hell, you want to play 40K, I'll be happy to. But we'll have some good conversations when we do that, right? So frame isn't like something that you fake. It's something that you have to like sort of become. And that's really what happens with Reignite. Is frame features heavily in the upcoming book. In fact, I have a whole dedicated section to frame because I think a lot of people just simply don't understand that. But it's not something you can like necessarily fake. It has to be the world into which other people and other women want to enter into. And so we help you do that. We help you develop a new sense of your own identity. And that's what really a lot of guys are looking for when it comes to like sort of reinventing themselves. They get zeroed out. Now, is Reignite just for guys who are zeroed out? No. You can just be rebuilding yourself. You don't necessarily have to be going through a trauma. Gosh, I hope you're not going through a trauma. But most of the guys that we talk to are in marriages and they need help with those marriages. They need to find a way to turn the sex back on, right? Or what they're doing is not getting the results that they need. And so when I see guys who like say, "Oh, the red pill's poisoning your relationships," bullshit. I just talked to a guy yesterday, and I'm not going to mention his name, but he's part of the Reignite group, and he is married. He's not single. Okay. A lot of these guys say, "Oh, should I cheat on my wife?" Blah, blah. And they don't really want to. They just would rather be with their wives, but they just want things to be different. And so through, understanding the red pill and everything else, they improve their relationships. That's why when I see these guys, "Oh, the red pill poisons relationships." No, it doesn't. It will help relationships more than it will ever hurt. But that's not to hear this chick tell it. So let me see if I can grab this girl's. Okay. I apologize in advance because she just is probably the most hideous beast you've ever seen. But here we go.
Have you ever had a relationship fail because of the type of content that your boyfriend was watching? I just saw this girl, and I'm going to tag her below, and she was talking about how she lost her boyfriend to red pill content. Well, I basically lost my boyfriend to manosphere content. And that was the beginning of the end. I didn't know it though. One day, I came home. I was in my vanity room. Okay, I have a room just for myself with my clothes and my makeup. In that room, I have
from my vanity room. Now, if you guys are wondering whether or not her nose is the result of a nose job, you are correct, sir. Here you go. You go to the head of the class if you think that's a nose job, because it is. A lot of her other TikToks are about her nose job and how she would do it again and again and again. So she's got the money to get rhinoplasty. But here we go.
I have a TV. One day, my ex, he comes in my room where I'm decompressing, mind you. And he goes on my TV and he says, "Baby, I want you to watch this creator with me." Okay.
Decompressing is therapy speak.
And I said, "Oh, okay." Because at this point, me and him have been together for about a good 3 years. So I feel like when he was suggesting content to me, it's because he thought that I also might enjoy it. So I said, "Oh, okay. What type of content does he make?" And he says, "Well, he comes on his platform and he invites women on there and he basically argues with them." And I shit y'all not, the first question that came out of my mouth after he said that was, "Is he gay?" Because in my mind, I don't know an actual real man who goes out about his way to argue with a woman just to tell her about herself.
Okay, so I want to stop it right here for a second. We'll come back to that. When she says, "Is he gay?" This is a common reframe, or I should say a diffusion, I guess, or maybe a distraction. I don't know what to really call it. But the thing is you literally, the first, like, remember, this person doesn't know anything about me, doesn't know anything about like the red pill content or anything like that. All she knows is that if you are talking about women, if you're debating women, if you're arguing with women, if you're complaining about women, the possibility exists that you are male and you are homosexual. And the reason for that is because what that does is it questions manhood. First of all, that's number one. It questions masculinity, because if you're gay, you're not masculine. You're not a man. You're not a heterosexual man. That's for damn sure. Right. So you must be gay if you watch this. So don't watch red pill material, because the odds are you're a latent homosexual. And that needs to be, I need to call that out here right in the beginning, because she's going to mention this again. But you can't be a man if you watch Kevin Samuels, if you watch Rollo Tomassi, if you watch Myron Gaines. And remember that this is also used to divide men from coming together, from uniting, from solidarity. I've mentioned this on a few occasions where I probably will go over this again at the MOA Summit, the Men of Action Summit. But what I see happening, like when I'm working with the Reignite guys, or I'm working with or I'm even helping Mike out with an immersion for his MOA group, one of the things I notice is that there is a real desire, a real need for guys to have a tribe, have a group of friends. And the problem is that when guys get together, the possibility exists that one or a few of them might actually say, "You know what? Why are women like this?" and then start having conversations about that. And it's not even so much that it's guys in groups that are coming together to talk about it. It's because it's so endemic. They see it all the time. As I said before, like, you can take away the red pill, you can take away the rational male, you can take away Access Vegas, you can take away Myroning Fresh, you can take away whatever podcast, you can like erase 90% of the red pill creators. And you know what? You will still have the manosphere and you will still have the red pill. It'll be in a different form. Somebody else will be talking about it, but it will still be there. And it's not because of guys like me or guys like Kevin Samuels. It's not because of those guys. It's because it is in men's face 24/7 on TikTok, coming from women just like this. If you want to talk about, oh, who's red pilling men today, it's mostly women. It's mostly the women on TikTok, mostly women on their Instagram reels. They're much more effective at quote unquote red pilling guys because it's coming straight from the horse's mouth. Like, I can look at this and interpret this and analyze this and give you my take on all of this. But the thing is she's probably the best, she's probably the best advocate for the red pill, because there it is, black and white, 100%. I use this one video, this girl who talks about the 3 different kinds of guys. There's the guys that are always going to get it, always going to get laid. Then there's the guys who are going to maybe get it because they got money or they have value added. The sexual intensity, mid at best. And then there's the other guys who are they're just invisible. They are never going to get laid no matter what. Those are the guys that Mike talks about, the guys who stock the shelves at CVS or Walgreens or whatever. Those are guys who are just like the invisibles. And then the other ones are the 20%ers, right? Who might be able to get laid and have a family or whatever, but they have to have value added because they're not the 4.5%ers who are always going to get laid. So when I talk about that video, that's not coming from me. That's coming from that girl who was on TikTok. Or a reel on Instagram. That's not coming from me. I'm not. She's the one who's advocating for a red pill understanding. And honestly, I think that women like that are going to be much more effective at changing men's minds about themselves and about women's nature than I could. I'm just articulating what I see happening. I'm just giving you my analysis. These are the ones who are actually who are doing the advocacy for us, you know?
Because in my reality, okay, that don't happen, right? I didn't grow up with men who were around me that did that type of shit.
Okay. My reality, once again, my truth instead of the truth.
And the ones that did do that type of shit, they were gay. So that's why I asked that question. He starts to laugh and he's like, nah, he's not gay. It's just that he likes to debate. He likes to go back and forth with the women and tell them how they're wrong. And I was like, okay, just go ahead and put it on. This motherfucker gonna put on Kevin Samuels. Mind you, I did not know who the hell he was at that point. And most people didn't know who he was at that point because he didn't blow up yet. He puts him on. And mind you, I'm just listening because I'm not watching. I'm taking off my makeup and shit. I'm hearing the content. I'm just like, I look at my ex at one point. I'm just like, can you take him off my TV, please? So my ex just starts to laugh and he's like, oh, well, you don't like him? I'm like, hell no, I don't like him. And then I start to like question him, like, why the fuck would I like him? So fast forward, me and my ex get into an argument.
Sambada just asked me, is she Caucasian? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. She speaks in Ebonics, that's for sure. No, I was just going to say is like, so now she can't actually take it. And so she wants it off the TV. She doesn't want to listen to this guy anymore. And why? Why? Could she answer that? Why did you want him off? Like, what was it about it that you couldn't stomach? So it's not, again, it's when you don't have a rational answer, a rational counter argument. And like, she's never going to mention any specifics about anything that he said. Obviously, it's just going to be, well, it's bad. Bad for what? I remember when Pierce Morgan first interviewed Andrew Tate, and this was in like, I think November of 2022. This is before they got arrested. And I remember Pierce Morgan saying something to the effect of like, you're a misogynist. And he says, well, what's a misogynist? And because he was trying to get a frame of reference with Pierce Morgan. And Pierce says, anything that is against women is misogyny. I'm like, oh, that's convenient. So women are basically, now he didn't say this, but this is what I was thinking when I heard that. I said, so women are above reproach. You cannot criticize women. Remember, what was it, Voltaire, who said, if you want to know who your oppressors are, like, look who you can't criticize. And that just sort of rang in my head there. It's like anything that is against women is misogyny. So you can be in the most measured way say, well, women's nature is this, and that's misogyny. You can't even make an observation and relate that observation to a group of men, a tribe of men, an organized group of men, and not have it be misogyny, or you're homosexual. Or the presumption is, in my reality, guys like that were gay. Okay, well, your reality is not everyone. Your reality is not the common reality. So the fact that she's even complaining about this and having it, oh, you're gonna have to turn this off, it says to me that she just simply has no counter argument to it. And once again, it goes through the same thing that you see happen on Fresh and Fit. It also happens on Access Vegas too, and certainly on whatever podcast is. Once women get to the point where they run out of gas, they run out of logical, empirical, because women can start. Well, I've got stats here. Like Jasmine Jafar is great. Like Jasmine can like come up with a few stats, whatever it is that Destiny fed her, right? But once she's out of gas, it's an emotional reframe. Then it's like, who hurt you? Have you ever been in love? You need to go touch grass. Are your parents still together? Have you, it's basically, if any woman says who hurt you, that's an emotional. They're trying to change the nature of the conversation from rational and empirical language to an emotional language, and that's all she's been talking in here is just emotional language. She can't say why. She just says that in my reality, this is what's going on.
So we get into this fight, and basically he asked me why I wouldn't do something, like, or why I wasn't like taking him serious or paying attention to him about some shit he was trying to say. I can't really remember, but I told him I cannot take you seriously because
you notice how she can't remember the specifics of him wanting to be taken seriously. So things have changed now. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's probably a good thing that he left her.
You don't pay any of my fucking bills. That's why I'm not taking shit that you're saying seriously. This motherfucker gonna say, this is why women end up alone.
Okay, so let me interject here one more time. Did you catch that? You're not paying any of my bills. When you look like this, okay? When you look like this and you have a boyfriend, it's not because he thinks you're that hot. I'm sorry to say. People will argue with me. Well, some guys like fat chicks. Not unless they have developed a fetish for them, right? Not unless they have come to prefer fatties, because they're the sure thing. They're the easy lay, right? But the thing is this is what I call the snowboarder effect, okay? Or the snowboarder dynamic. And I came up with this. Sorry, it's kind of probably stupid, but I can remember when I lived in Lake Tahoe. There's all these guys who were they were wannabe professional snowboarders, right? And they were basically lifties. Like if they had a job at all, they were working as a lift operator at one of the ski resorts, right? Which of course is transient work, because once the snow's gone, then they don't have a job, right? And so the joke was always this: what do you call a snowboarder without a girlfriend? Homeless. Same thing as like, what do you call a bass player without a girlfriend? Same thing. And it's funny because I can remember like back in the day when I was in my rock star 20s, I knew a lot of guys who had really fat girlfriends. And the reason they have fat girlfriends was because they were financially dependent on them, because the fat girl would take care of them. They'd buy them clothes. Like, did you ever see Motley Crue, The Dirt? It was on VH1. I think it's even Neil Strauss wrote the book on it, right? Because he did all the interviews. There was a one girl who was with Vince Neil, the singer, and she would buy him. She bought him like those really nice leather pants. They're even on the cover of Too Fast for Love, like those nice leather pants. He could not possibly have afforded those, but the girlfriend could. So the girlfriend had a nice sports car, and he was like basically broke. He was a broke bum. It's called hobosexual, right? It's like you move in the guy with the good dick and he's hot and everything. And those guys tend to get with girls who are like certainly lower than them on the sexual market value scale until such time as they become rock stars and then they just bang whoever, right? Same thing with the snowboarders at that time. It's the snowboarder dynamic. You get a fat girlfriend and she supports you, and you all you got to do is just fuck her. And you're probably fucking other girls too, but you're living with this girl. And the only reason why I can see that a guy would be with a girl who looks like this is because she's paying, as she says, paying all the bills. And you're not paying any of the bills. Like, yeah, of course he's not. Because he's with a fat chick who probably supports and God knows what else the guy does. I don't know. Been with him for about 3 years. That tracks. And is probably in a lifestyle that he's comfortable with because she pays all the bills. And she's been with the guy 3 years and hasn't had a problem up until he started watching Kevin Samuels and started thinking for himself. Now, let me explain something to you. I don't know that this is necessarily the case. So this is a hypothetical. But so let's just say, for sake of argument, that brokey guy who's with this fat girl listens to Kevin Samuels and he finds his nutsack and he says, you know what? I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to make money. I want to get with hotter chicks. I want to get with women who respect me or take me seriously, right? Would that not be a good thing? Would that not be in his best interest to do those things? Now you can say, well, it split them up. Yeah, it split them up, but they probably should have been split up. Probably a longer. 3 years is a long time, especially in your 20s. Because you have all this opportunity and all this prospect and everything else that you're just basically limiting yourself from because you get comfortable, because she's paying for the food, because she's paying for the weed, because she's paying for the alcohol, because she's paying for the lifestyle. She probably has money. She certainly has money enough to get rhinoplasty. Okay. So she probably has a semi-decent job, and fat girls love this shit. They love a guy because there's no way that a girl like that is going to get with a guy who looks like a snowboarder or a rock star. I'm not saying that's his case. The guy might be fat as hell too. I don't know. He might be a lazy fuck. But the thing is when guys get into those situations where the woman is supporting that guy and she gets, eventually she's going to get resentful of it because he's not making any money. Because once it gets to the point where he should step up and be the man, he doesn't want to be the man for a girl like that. He would probably gladly be the man, make more money, think more of himself, have more self-respect for him if the girl was much better, was a better ideal. But she doesn't embody that. Clearly, this girl does not embody that.
I say, what women do you know that are ending up alone? He was like, that's the shit that I see when I'm watching those videos. Because he started to watch just not only Kevin, but he was watching, other influencers who had the same type of content.
Such as, like, he noticed the jump cut right there. But even if she's not mentioning names, that's fine. But the thing is like, if you're going to eat, like, Kevin Samuels has been dead for almost 3 years. What, 2 years? 3 years now. 3 years. Was it 2022? I think it was 2022. Like, God, it's been that long. Yeah, it'll be Tate. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is like, I'm glad she brings Samuels into this because Kevin Samuels that was his theme, was to get women on there and talk to them and tell them the raw truth about themselves. And even if they hated him, they had to respect him for telling the truth about themselves. And so what he was saying wasn't wrong. He was seeing those kinds of women on Kevin's. Hell, you could see him on Fresh and Fit. Or they're going to be alone. Well, some of them would say, I am alone. Hell, I could show you. Again, the red pill is not going to be promoted primarily through quote unquote red pill creators. It's going to be promoted through women who are going to come up and say, I'm 54 years old and I've never been married and I don't know what to do. At some point, there's going to be this sort of reckoning that goes along. Now, occasionally, you're going to see the Charlize Theron, who's 49 years old and happens to be a celebrity and is a millionaire, and she's going to say, "Oh, life is great at 49, and I can fuck 26-year-olds." But that's not the vast majority of women. I mean, I keep seeing this stat get thrown out again and again and again from Morgan Stanley's article, "Rise of the She Economy," where 45 or 42% of women are going to be single in 2030. There's nothing about childlessness in there. I'm sorry to say. Now, odds are they probably will be childless, but there's nothing about that in there. Like, they're going to be single and childless. Now, that's inaccurate. Well, I mean, it's sort of accurate, but it's not perfectly accurate. But the thing is when you see that rebroadcast by women themselves, then what are you going to say about it? It's not even Kevin Samuels that's saying that. It's women themselves. It's TikTok influencers such as this girl. What do you have to say about that? It's not the algorithm. Algorithm's only giving you what it thinks you want to see because of your prior views. It's not just, mindlessly, like, what would you do? What would you do? Put it this way. If your interest was Warhammer 40,000, which mine happens to be, learning new painting techniques, learning new hobby stuff and everything like that. But the algorithm keeps promoting Mary Kay makeup. It keeps promoting, or just some random bullshit about, I don't know, carpet, reinstalling carpet, or something that's completely randomly unrelated to the things that you are interested in. Are you going to stick with that social media platform? Probably not. Hell, even YouTube is the same way. YouTube, very few people, unless you go and type into the search engine, "I want to see X, Y, and Z. I want to learn how to hang drywall." It's not going to show you drywall videos. It's going to show you podcasts you've seen before, you're subscribed to, and it's going to create a profile for you. It is trying to cater to you, not to just randomly throw shit in your lap. You are the one that has to curate it for yourself, yes, but the algorithm is just going to give you what it thinks that you want to see. It's in their best interest to do so. So blaming this bullshit on the algorithm and blaming it on, like, "Oh, well, it gives you unrealistic expectations of women." It's like, no, it's giving you what it knows that you want to see.
So I told him, this is where I had to break it down for him a little bit. I had to hurt his feelings. I didn't really want to do it, but I'm just like, you getting out of fucking hand. Like, you really getting out of line. I was like, I don't know why someone like you is watching content from people like them. You, first of all, don't have the same money as them. You don't have the...
Starts with the money. So again, that reinforces my theory here that she's the one footing the bills, which I think she's already admitted to. And the guy is, like, probably just riding the gravy train, whale hunting until he can jump ship.
The same lifestyle as them. You don't have the resources they have, and you don't have the platform they have. So why the fuck is someone like you being influenced by someone like that?
That's the whole thing. Why would that make any difference? Like, the guy probably doesn't have as much money as I do, but I wrote, 5 books on the topic here. I've got 5, well, at least Amazon bestsellers, and enough people have benefited from that. So the theory just doesn't hold water. But I think she's spitballing right here because she's pissed off, and maybe rightly so, because she's the one that's paying for all of this stuff. And now this guy's getting wild ideas in his head, and she can see it progressively falling apart because the guy's finding his nutsack at this point.
You, a grown-ass man, almost into his 30s, because at this point he was like 29, 28 or something like that. Almost into his 30s, you're listening to another grown man. You don't have your own ideology set. You don't have your own morals and values to follow. You're letting somebody else that don't even fucking know that you exist in.
Okay. That's the guy you chose to live with for the last 3 years. That's the guy you should have. You're worried about his ideology and you're worried about his values and stuff like that. This is the guy. He's your snowboarder. He didn't care. He's probably cheating on her, he's probably knocking it out with better looking chicks, but he still has to come home to mama. She's a sugar mama. and he's the the homosexual. And this is pissing her off because it's taking a guy like Kevin Samuels or Myron or whoever he was watching to wake him up to that. Maybe this is a good thing. He's 29. He should have got off of that fucking whale a long time ago.
Influence you. And you're a grown-ass man. You try to say you're a grown-ass man. That's fucking crazy. I didn't understand that. I really didn't. Because, yeah, social media is fun, but I cannot say I've ever been influenced by a fucking creator on here.
No, you clearly have, because in her other TikTok videos, she does makeup videos and she does her nose job videos and she does beauty products and stuff like that. So clearly that's categorically false.
Because, bitch, if you're trying to sell me some shit and I don't want it, I'm gonna keep fucking scrolling. If it sounds like some shit that don't sound right, I'm gonna let you know it don't sound right. But it's hardly ever I get influenced by somebody on here.
That's basically the entire reason for social media is influence. I'm doing this, you should too. Or, hey, look how cool this is. And again, it doesn't have to be necessarily bad. Like, social media doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just how you interpret it and what you are looking for. And yeah, of course she loves attention. Thank you, thank you, dude. Yeah, she does. She likes attention. And why? Where does she get that from? She's influenced by social media. To say that you're not, God, what a screenshot that is. To say that you're not is like ridiculous. I mean, this is a child. Okay. She's still, what did she say? The guy was like almost 30. I wonder how old she is. You think she's older or younger than him?
And this grown ass man wants me to take him serious. The one that's getting influenced by somebody, the one that don't pay bills. You want me to take you serious? What the
See, so once again, you aren't to be taken seriously. Like, anything you think of, you're like, why would it matter that he had any ideology or any values or whatever it is if he's not paying bills? No bills, you don't get to think. You don't pay the bills, then you don't get to, I won't take you seriously. You don't get taken seriously. So what's she confirming, gentlemen? Burden of performance, which is a red pill perspective or a red pill truth or a red pill fact, let's just say, and have a burden of performance. And perhaps maybe he's realizing that and wants to get out of a really bad situation. There is that possibility as well. So maybe, perhaps he's doing what's best for him. And sometimes what's best for him is not what's best for her. So when we're looking at stuff like this, is like, especially the part where she's talking about he don't pay the bills. Well, you don't get to have, so I don't get to have an opinion if I'm not paying bills. No, you don't. But this is still the man you chose. This is the guy you've been living with for 3 years. So what does that say about her, right?
I said you need to stop listening to the motherfuckers because they got you fucked up. And now you got me fucked up. He just shut the fuck up. He didn't say nothing else. He didn't say shit after that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk to you when I get home. And I hung up. And that was the end of that conversation. I should have known that that was going to be a problem. Okay. Now, another thing too, if you have a boyfriend that has, and this is not all of them. This is not all of them. This was just the one that I had. And there are many others that are like him. Okay. So please don't get this confused. Do not run with this shit. Okay. Sometimes men, where they have an absence of a father in their life, if he sees a man talking about things that other men respond well to, then he will also try to adopt their ideas.
Okay. So, but she wants a guy with values. Well, where does those values come from? Kevin Samuels, the fathers they never, me. I've had people tell me that you're like the father I never had. Or the other one that's really common for me is what is it? I always knew these things were low, but I was never able to articulate them, and you can articulate them. It's like, I'm just, for a lot of the times when I'm doing one-on-one counseling, and by the way, I'm still doing one-on-one. So if you want a session, just email me. But a lot of times I work with guys who already know what they have to do. They just want me to give them permission. Like, go with God, my friend. Vaya con Dios. Like, they want me to give them permission to go and do what they already know that they need to do. So I love it because it's like she's so ass backwards. Now it's going to be about your father, right? Okay, this is the emotional reframe. these guys didn't have fathers. Well, then, yeah, okay. But they're being influenced by somebody like who would be a good influence? Somebody who promotes your ideas, to your benefit or to his benefit. This is why I always have a problem with guys like Matt Walsh and certainly Michael Knowles and certainly Jeremy Boring and the guys from the Daily Wire and anybody else who has like sort of the pinnacle of a man kind of thing. They want male self-improvement, but they don't want self-improvement for the guy. They want males to be better for women. They want to solve men's problems so they will be better, more eligible for women. And that's not about the guy. It's about solving women's problems. So you have to remember that she's not interested in this guy's betterment because his betterment means she falls off. And that's really what this is all about. It's not about like, oh, the red pill's destroying this great relationship. No, this guy was a bum, right? I mean, she just basically said, yeah, I was with this bum and I wanted him to stay a bum. I didn't want him to have, God, he came across this material and now he finally is sacking up and deciding that she doesn't respect him or she doesn't like his ideas or she doesn't take him seriously. And he's thinking like the same thing. He's finally grabbing his nutsack, right? Like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm the snowboarder. I'm the rock star who's dependent on this fat bitch, right?
Opt that behavior because they think that a man is teaching them something that they don't know because they didn't have one growing up. So now they're looking for that is what I'm.
Well, clearly they didn't know it. Otherwise they wouldn't search it out and they wouldn't be listening to it and they wouldn't be learning from it if that were the case.
Trying to say, I hope I said that right. My thing is this though, if you're going to listen to them type of people, you got to make sure everything else
type of people
your life matches up with them too.
You people, what do you mean you people?
Okay, not just your mentality about women. You got to make sure your finances match up. You got to make sure your looks match up.
There it is again. Finances. Why? Because she's the fat girl who's supporting the bum.
You got to make sure all the decisions that you make in your life got to match up with theirs too. See, it's more than just having, an influenced mind, right? If you really feel like how that person feels and you want your life to reflect that.
What's funny is like, it's okay if you're an influencer and you're female, but if you influence anybody and you're male, then you are basically a cult leader. Oh, he's influencing. Influence. I hate, that's why, by the way, that's why I hate the term influencer. I don't want to, I realize people are going to call me that. And there's nothing I could do about it, but I hate the term influencer.
You want to move how they move. You got to have your whole life looking just like how theirs look. And
so essentially you have to look like Kevin Samuels. How did Kevin Samuels go out, everybody? He went out with, let's see, in an apartment that was not a rented apartment that was not in his name. He had essentially a nurse who was also an escort and tried to resuscitate him when he died from drinking too many Red Bulls. Let me tell you something. I again, this is me spitballing. I don't know any different, but man, let me tell you the circumstances under which Kevin Samuels passed away are very sus, even to this day. And the very fact that they said, "Oh, there's no drugs in his system," well, who knows? Why did he end up the way he did? Myron and I have talked about this, sort of posthumously of Kevin Samuels, but like the circumstances of his passing, like, put it this way, I would not want to die like that. To have like the big fat booty Latina quote unquote nurse who was actually an escort that he flew out from, I want to say St. Louis, I think. And he's in Florida. Remember, Kevin Samuels had fathered, I think, 1 or 2 kids in Oklahoma and then escaped Oklahoma to go into Texas so he didn't have to pay child support or was paying less child support from the state of Texas. And then for the most part was, if you go back through Kevin Samuels' archives of videos, he started out by selling men's fragrances, right? Or he was trying to do men's style for a little while, I think, too. But like it was men's fragrances, and he looked like Urkel. He had the strap, like the suspenders and the bow tie and everything else. He looked not to put too fine a point on it, but he did look like, or Red Bull gives you wings. It gives you something else too. And then decided to move to Florida so that he could, because he hit upon something. He was throwing spaghetti at the wall. Like if you look at what his earliest videos where he's trying to sell men's fragrances, I don't know if he had endorsements, whatever, who cares, right? Then he wanted to do style, and he was basically lifting pictures from other people's websites to build his own website. And hey, man, respect the hustle, but it's a hustle. And then that's when the Red Pill content started taking off in 2021. And I don't know this for a fact, but I do know this is that Pat Campbell and myself did our weekly terrestrial radio show bit on Fridays in Tulsa, Oklahoma from 2018 until he passed. Well, really until right before he passed away. So from 2018 through 2021 is when he passed. That was Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was exactly the time Kevin Samuels would have been in Tulsa as well. So I'm just saying. And we would do every Friday, and I had to get up at 4 a.m, but it was like, I think it was like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning when it was Central Time. Maybe it was 9. But I don't know. It's a possibility he heard what I was doing at the time, because I have heard him use a lot of my vernacular in the past. But it is what it is. But Kevin Samuels had $4.5 million in his bank account. Like he had gone from struggling to pay child support to having $4.5 million in his bank account as a result of being a very successful podcaster and doing what he did. So you remember, like, she can talk shit about like, oh, these guys need, you need to be a made man to take influence, to be influenced by other made men. That's not how it works. If that's how it works, then nobody would go to church. You think what, Joel Osteen? Like, you're going to be like, well, you can't listen to Joel Osteen. Well, why? Because he makes millions of dollars in his big, gigantic mega church. So you can't really, like, it makes no sense whatsoever. But the idea that Kevin Samuels in some way has always been like that is just absolutely a falsehood. But she doesn't know that. I can't really hold her to that.
His life wasn't looking like that. Okay, like I said, he wasn't doing anything other than the bare minimum. And I really do feel like that was the beginning of the end.
I think the problem she had was not the red pill stuff. I think it was the fact that she was done with this guy after 3 years. I'm just going to, again, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that the dude was probably somewhat good looking enough, but was a bum. And she knew this from the jump and put up with it for 3 years because the guy was at least somebody she like. When women of this size get with a guy who is even like marginally less heavy than she is, right? That's the draw. That's the reason for her like putting up with a guy being a bum, because she couldn't possibly get with a guy who makes money, who looks good, who has all these, value added things, because she's simply not the kind of girl that guys of that caliber would even look at. They don't want to get with a chick that looks like this, and they certainly wouldn't get into a situation like this where she's mouthy and everything else, and a nose job and all that other shit.
Tip of the iceberg. Also, it's no shade to Kevin Samuels. I know that man passed away. I'm not trying to disrespect him, but that was part of my story. Also, I do want to.
When did he start watching Kevin Samuels? He would have had to start watching Kevin Samuels videos prior to, posthumously. He had already been dead. He's been dead for a while now. This is a recent video. So the guy would have had to gone through and searched for Kevin Samuels. He's not active anymore. Hasn't been active for at least 3 years.
Say this, okay? I saw some comments in my last video that they were saying I was rage baiting. Bitch, this ain't no fucking rage baiting. I told you what the fuck happened and I left. I hardly even responded to most of the comments on there because most people thought that I was just saying shit just because I wanted to get reactions. No, I gave my confessional, my testimonial, and I fucking left. Like, there really is nothing else, to rage bait about. I told y'all a story that happened to me, and that's it. But yeah, y'all, tip of the iceberg.
See, yeah. So, and she thinks a lot of herself. You can tell. There's a definite, she's, I don't want to say prideful, but yeah, she thinks she's black. I don't know. I can't say she is. Like fucking Sam's like, hey, is she Caucasian? I don't know. She could be mixed. I don't know. And that's what she is. That's her racial identity. I don't know. Am I a Viking? If I started talking like this, I started talking like Ragnar from Vikings, would you believe it? No, I don't think that that's an example of the red pill destroying a relationship. Quite honestly, I think the red pill has like sort of bolstered relationships better, at least in my experience. In my reality, I see guys. I'm an example of it, right? I chalk up the success of my marriage to red pill principles, red pill truths. Me taking red pill facts and putting them into practices. How about that? Yeah, God. Okay, let me get to the rest of these. Hang on. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm sorry to put you through that. Hello, Rolo. This is a question is out of topic. Okay. Well, we're at the end of the show, so I can answer it. If you can answer before the end of the show, thank you for your 20 worthless Canadian dollars. What is the Arab Spring and what does the red pill have to do with it? The Red Pill Spring, or the Arab Spring, what does it have to do with it? Now, this is my understanding, so like, don't quote me on this. The Arab Spring was, what is it? It was in the early 90s, I want to say, or excuse me, the late 90s, I think. And essentially what it was an uprising amongst not sub-Saharan, I guess like towards the Mediterranean parts of Africa in like Yemen. Well, is Yemen part of it? No. Certainly in parts of Egypt, parts of, gosh, God damn it. Let's just do this. Would you like to just look this up? Arab Spring. Okay, the Arab Spring. This is according to Google's AI because it shoots it through. The Arab Spring was a series of pro-democracy protests, uprisings, and armed rebellions that spread across much of the Arab world in the early 2010s, starting in Tunisia. There you go. And these events were largely fueled by social and political grievances such as authoritarianism, corruption, and economic stagnation. Okay. Began December of 2010 in Tunisia. And then, by the way, what was Muammar Gaddafi's thing? Libya, Syria, Yemen. Oh, I was right. Yemen, Egypt. Those were the primary places that it happened. Now here's you want the red pill take on this. Okay. This is where political uprisings, but red pill take is that it was primarily young men, unmarried young men at that time. And a lot of, now remember, these are the Muslim world. So pornography, no. And remember that in the Arab world, in the Muslim world, more powerful, more richer men can have more wives. So there's fewer women, and the women that were available are snapped up by more powerful, more wealthy, more affluent men. And so what happens is when you take pornography away from guys, that's sedation, remember, when you take away any kind of prospect, like they don't have any possibility of advancement. They see it as a political deal rather than a sort of a social deal, I think. And then you have, in some cases, violent uprising. So there's the Arab Spring part for you. But in red pill have to do with it. I'm not gonna say it had anything to do with it, but like I don't think it was instrumental. But I will say that I think one of the reasons why it occurred, one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons it occurred is because you have a lot of these guys who are simply sexless guys and they have no prospects, they can't get married until they have money. They can't even propose marriage until they have money, just because that's the way the culture runs. It's a polygynous, I guess, society. And so there's no chance for marriage. There's no chance for jobs. There's no chance for any kind of advancement. There's no chance, unless you're like doing something illegal, arms trading, I guess. Who knows whatever goes on over in those countries. And so what's going to happen? These guys are going to get together. They're going to organize. And remember, this is 2010. So social media isn't quite what it is right now, but they had connectivity well enough through, say, Twitter and other means. And so you've got the Arab Spring. And quite honestly, if you want my red pill analysis of it, I would say that primarily it happened as a result of sort of this angst that is common amongst these young guys who don't have any prospects, whether it comes to getting laid, whether it comes to getting married, because they don't have getting paid. They have no way of getting money or anything like that. And you have, a generation that's just chock full of young men. And yeah, I think it wasn't me that said this. I think it was Joe Rogan at the time was saying something to the effect of like, these guys will blow themselves up for pussy in another dimension. Now, was that happening at that time? I don't know if it was necessarily a terrorist thing, but it was certainly this sort of political unrest. And I think it was primarily caused, or the catalyst for it was the fact that these guys simply didn't have any prospects to getting pussy, because to get pussy meant that you had to be married. And you couldn't get married if you didn't have any money, or you didn't have enough to support a family or something like that. And so it's this negative feedback loop, self-defeating cycle, right? So if you want a red pill take on it, that would be my red pill take. It's always going to come back down to biology. It's always everybody wants some. And if there's no way to get some, then you start breaking shit. Crom lives in the earth. I've found when asking AI questions using prompts based on the writings of Rhinestone, Rollo Tomassi, etc., actually works pretty well. Yeah, you have to be very specific about stuff. If you throw generalities out there, it's going to give you what it was programmed to sort of return with. That's a big torta. Yeah, big torta. Thank you. Yeah, she kind of is. I don't know who Jabo's husband is, but he can do better. I don't think they were married. I'm pretty sure it was just a live-in boyfriend situation. Got here late, so I might have missed, but is red pill plausible with today's economy? It doesn't make more sense to be equal, but also to stay masculine. I don't know. Might be red pill plausible with, well, is it compatible? Maybe that's the better way to put it. I don't know. Anyways, we got to get out of here. That's your show for today. Hey, to my credit, I only talked once about Lauren and Destiny, and just to give you guys some shit for it, but that's about it. I'll stick with this stuff. I mean, I think I already covered this pretty well on Access Vegas last Wednesday, which, by the way, we're going to be doing another one this Wednesday, because I'm the only constant in Access Vegas, because if Tristan is hosting, I'm on. If Mike's hosting, I'm on. So I'm the hardest working guy in the red pill. So please super chat like I am. Or Ned is. But anyways, thanks for watching today. I appreciate you guys. I will be on Access Vegas on this channel, on Access Vegas channel, on Mike's channel, and on our Rumble stream. That'll be Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, or a little bit after. And then don't forget, once again, Reignite. We have the upcoming Reignite event in Las Vegas, Sin City Swim Week. You guys don't want to miss that. It's a lot of fun, guys. Really, I enjoy. This is where you get to see me. You got full access to me all the time. And I am going to, Joe's going to kill me, but I'm going to do Access Vegas during that week. I will have Coral Osborne on. I've been talking to her on Instagram. She is a former sex worker, a former escort, in fact. And she has sort of realigned her life, and now she is a certified 100% bona fide. Thank you for the $1. You're so kind. You're £1. I'm just going to put that up just for doing it. Here, that's A for effort, my friend. A for effort. But Coral Osborne is a certified 100% real sexologist, more real than Sadia Khan. So she's going to be on the show. I've already got her locked in for the 13th. That'll be Wednesday, the 13th, August 13th. And so I'm going to do a dinner with you guys that day, but I am going to do the show. And if you want to be in the studio audience, that's going to be part of the deal. So if you want to do that, and then afterwards we'll go out and we'll go do some shit. So, but I do have to do that show because it is Swim Week show. So I figure I'm going to throw in a free audience participation thing. So if you want to be in the studio when we're shooting Access Vegas, that is also going to be part of the deal. So there you go. She's not a life coach, for crying out loud. Look her up. Coral, like the coral. Osborne, like Ozzy, like, wait a minute, hold on. Like 20 seconds of silence. Ozzy had so many good songs. Like everybody always was, oh, Crazy Train. Man, there's so many there's so many good songs off of Bark at the Moon. Bark at the Moon was great, but like the album Bark at the Moon had some really good music on it. Jakey Lee and Ozzy, I thought, was one of the better combinations. Anyways, there you go. Oh, wait, here's a quote for you. Yes, that's a Reignite quote. I want you guys to become something different. So please come to the Reignite event. It's going to be, like I said, the 12th. Well, technically the 12th, the 13th through the 15th. If you come early, you might get to do something with me on the 12th. Okay, that's it. That's my show. I will see you guys Wednesday for Access Vegas. I apologize for this girl profusely. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later.
Hey, y'all. I need to feel you on top of me. It was my first time, but I was just a kid when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same. Time came by and went over like a matchbox stereo. Time to get my thoughts now, let it go. Bound to keep me up all night.
Misogyny.
But maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know. Maybe we can fuck again, then maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Then I could have the best of my life.
I don't chase booty.
Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up everywhere while I got your hair. Why you screaming my name?
That's nasty. It is nasty, right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.
She was swinging in the bedroom, whole time stopping and stepping with her hair like she's Claudia Kelly.
Well, I'm a whore.
Run me up and down like a pony, turning up my song, getting messy, working up and down on your body. Run me up and down like a pony, turning up my song on your body. Baby, we'll get down to it all night. I'm taking crazy now. We can fuck again, and maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know. And maybe we can fuck again, then maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again.
City Podcast has been a production of The Irrational Male. All rights reserved. Registered trademark 2025. Don't steal Ned's stuff.
Tell these bitches to go to hell.
Like, man, well, sometimes you don't get no hoes, man.
Stop the cap.
She's not a Christian!
God wants you to have the baby.